Comin At Ya Podcast contains adult themes and language. It's not intended for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Now, here's your hosts, Kevin and Chris, with Todd, who has only one job.
It's time once again for another episode of Comin At Ya. Comin At Ya, a podcast about the world of mixed martial arts, boxing, pro wrestling, and heavy metal music. With a slice of comedy for good measure. Comin At Ya.
And we're back, episode 203, brought to us by, actually, not yet, Comin At Ya Podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Scott, my good friend Bullet, and Toddy. Here's the show brought to us by Bullet.
Well, just real quick, 6 past the hour, ladies and gentlemen. We have a backup on the freeway. Oh, wait a minute, that's the wrong show. Brought to you in part by Philly Comedy Club.
This Friday they have Shuley from the
Stern Show. That's
So,
amazing.
Yeah, 2 shows. They got one at 7:30, 9:30.
Hey now.
You can use the code the Comin At Ya Podcast code CAY Pod to get discount tickets. Also mention our name for no free drinks. You do get the discount on the tickets though. CAY Pod, Shuley this Friday, Philly Comedy Club, 7:30, 9:30. Who else is the show brought to us by?
Netflix in just less than 10 days. In less than 10 days.
What happens in 10 days?
The mother effing Punisher.
The Punisher was on Stern yesterday.
Shit.
I heard him.
Actually, you know what I watched on there the other day was 1922
Yeah, it was really good.
with Thomas Jane, who was in the Punisher, and he didn't even look anything like himself.
No, he was a transformative performance, ladies and gentlemen.
Made like probably went an hour into it and didn't quite enjoy it. Never really nothing really happened.
It was
I have to finish
it was
it
a
still.
meditation
I have to
on
finish it
guilt
still.
and the consequences of having to face your
Also
actions.
brought to us by Resp Tattoo.
RespTattoo.com for all your tattoo needs. He is having a party actually this weekend for Keswick Tattoo. They're having a grand opening. He's going to be there.
It's from 5 to 9.
5 to 9. Go out there and
that's
get a tattoo.
in Keswick, PA, right?
I think so.
I think
it's
so.
called Keswick.
If not, you know what? People need to take a little responsibility for themselves. And they can look it up.
Yeah, they can look it up. Just look for the guy with the
Everybody's
biggest
so
hands in the
goddamn
world.
lazy. Also brought to us by Dads in Cargo Shorts.
Dads in Cargo Shorts. He has a vlog, which is a video log.
Also brought to us by Jack Daniels.
It's a Band-Aid for your soul.
Also brought to us by
Fleshlight.
Fleshlight.
They will save your marriage for only $80.
Extreme Cage Combat.
You're looking good, Helen. Love it when you have the heels because the boobies are like eye level.
So we got a couple extra guests on the show today. We have friend Martin back. We also have the butt of most of your trash talking for at least 10 or so episodes, Carolina, or as the fans would know her as Polish Carolina. I don't know why. I have her on my phone as Polish Carolina, but she's the only Carolina I know.
Well,
which is weird. But also, there used to be Dave who used to train with us as well. I have him as Polish Dave.
Polish Dave.
Too, so.
Donde Dave.
Did you see the movie Thor?
I did, but we need to have.
Oh, no, we got to do a shot. This is going to be our new tradition. 44-year-old whiskey. This used to be my grandfather's. We just opened it last week. Oh, yeah. So here's to Bullet licking my balls.
Someone's got to.
And here's to Martin and Toddy, Carolina. Enjoy.
America.
Let's watch Todd make his face.
Oh, it's good.
What a bitch.
It's good.
What a bitch.
It's good.
The both of you. The both of you.
She had a better reaction than he did.
Disgusting, the both of you.
Because I knew it was coming.
You just
You see, I expect that. I expect a reaction like that coming from you, but not Todd.
Why do you expect that from her?
Why?
Oh, that was
Why do I expect that reaction coming from her?
Yes.
Well, because number one, she's a woman.
Wait, excuse me.
I'm just saying you're the fairer of the
Are
sexes.
you not a woman?
You're Are you
no,
not?
no. I am a woman, but really? You're such a sexist.
I'm not being
Those are
sexist.
jokes.
You
Actually,
cut
it
me
was
off.
very smooth.
You cut me off. What I was going to say is, a woman, sophisticated as yourself, would not be used to such a harsh liquor. You're more of a red wine woman,
You're like
I believe.
a dainty flower.
You're like
That's true.
You're like a delicate
Cheers, boys.
Polish rose.
Is there a Polish rose?
Yes.
What's the Yankee rose?
if there's
Do
a
like
Polish
a Yankee
Carolina.
rose version of it.
It's a yellow color.
And then we have
And
friend
it only
Martin.
grows in the mountains of Poland.
Hopefully Todd doesn't go through the chair again this week. I've repaired it, so you're in good hands.
Has it been reinforced?
It has been reinforced. I've done
Can
quite
the-
of reinforcement.
Can the people out there hear us? We just want to make sure that
I
all the
will.
sounds are
If Todd happens to go through the chair again, I will not be upset.
Popo's on.
All right, Popo. We're up to one.
Pope.
So
And Lex.
and Lex. So did you see the movie Thor? Martin, did you see more Thor?
I did not.
It got good reviews, right? Right off the bat. Can we say that?
I have I see. I'm conflicted with it.
What's your confliction?
My confliction is this: I accept the fact that it is a fun popcorn movie, and there's a lot of comedy. They went the Guardians of the Galaxy route with it. However,
Are you saying it's not like the book?
well, it's not like the actual mythos of it. It's not like any of the Norse mythology. Like they just
Is it like
they borrow
the comic book?
No, it's nothing. The
There's-
comic.
There's nothing about the movie that says, "Hey, we're trying to imitate Norse mythology."
Yeah, but if they had Jesus Christ vampire killer and they just fucked with that whole entire mythology, you'd have people that would be really pissed off.
so you're one
Back
of those
me up
guys.
on. Back me
Yeah,
up.
I gotta.
So
back
when you
up.
watch Spider-Man, you're like, "Oh, you know, they didn't really capture the essence of the spiders."
Well, no, because
That's what you're
Spider-
saying, though. It doesn't
Spider-Man
make any
wasn't.
sense.
Yeah, but you're talking about a culture. You're talking about a culture, a religion of an actual people. Like
That's
no-
not what the movie's about.
Thor was an actual deity that people prayed to and
Oh,
worshiped.
Jesus, maybe you just don't understand what you're watching then.
No, I said it. That's
Are you
why I'm
sitting there the whole
conflicted.
time with your arms across your chest? You're
No,
like,
I
I
had
can't
a-
believe this
I
does
had
not
a-
match.
I had a
what I
great.
read in all my history books.
I had a great time. I thought it was a very entertaining movie. However, there was the other side of my brain that was like, nah, you know, they did that. They shouldn't have done
What
that.
movie?
They shouldn't
What's a
have done
movie you
this.
saw right before that? What other movie recently?
In the theater.
Yeah, something. It's just something you watched lately you haven't seen before.
I saw that movie About Time.
What's that about?
Oh,
Is
that
that with
was
Johnny
a good
Depp?
It was
movie.
a really good movie.
Oh, that was really good.
It was about the guy who did. It's about the same director who did Love Actually. It's about this
Mhm.
kid who finds out that his family, all the men in the family, are time travelers, and he can't change history, but he can go change his. So he meets.
Were you upset that it didn't stick to time traveler history, like the stuff you read in
Watch this.
the books?
Are you talking about theoretical physics?
No, you don't know anything about theoretical physics.
Sure. I mean, they've already proven that gravity can warp time space. So if you have an
That's
engine
the end
that
of
can
your
create
statement?
enough gravity, well, yeah.
What's the math formula for it?
I would have to write it out. You wouldn't understand it.
Nice recovery. I appreciate that. On a side note, we were.
No, but I know what you're saying. Like, I hate when you go to a movie. Like, I remember this one time I saw the movie The Mummy Returns with Brendan Fraser,
and it didn't.
and this dude did like a triple backflip, and the guy's like, "There's no way he'd be able to jump like that." Asshole face. You're
But
watching a movie about a mummy coming back
But
to
do you
life.
get mad when you go to that movie and it doesn't represent
No, I
the
didn't get-
true Egyptians?
I didn't get mad. Oh, remember Gods of Egypt a couple of years back? What a colossal piece of shit
Right,
that
but
was.
I guess what I'm getting at is you're seeing a movie that's a good movie, you're enjoying it, and then you take an extra minute to fucking ruin it in your brain?
No, it didn't ruin it. I told you. I said I enjoyed the movie very much. However, there was the side of me going, they changed that, they changed that, they changed that, they changed the next
What
thing.
did they
So,
change?
Everything.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, Thor and Loki are not brothers, you know. Hela is not Thor's sister.
But you're like 6 movies deep into the franchise stuff. Like I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense that you would waste any thoughts on that.
Let me put it to you like this. Vikings, okay,
Yes.
for lack of a better word.
You didn't like the show Vikings because it didn't follow like true Viking stuff.
No, I like the show.
And you're not a Viking anyway, so what does it matter?
First of all,
Doesn't matter.
The Vikings were very prolific. They fucked everything in sight in any land they went in. You have to understand one thing about Vikings and Viking culture and Viking mythology. Very little is actually known about it. Most of what people know about Vikings,
So how do you know it's inaccurate?
if I could fucking finish for fuck's sake, the Vikings are very misrepresented in history because the people that wrote the people they attacked mostly were the most literate people of their time. The church, the Christians. Christians were the only ones that could write and record history. So, of course, they're getting attacked by them, by the Vikings. They're going to write nasty shit about them.
Why were there no Christians in the movie Thor?
Well, because they were probably praying instead of fighting.
I'm saying, like, you're going to see a good movie and you're analyzing, like, you're adding this extra level of analyzing that really has nothing to do with it.
No, I said I enjoyed it. However,
What was your favorite part?
probably the part, any scene with him and Hulk. There was like a buddy cop
There
movie.
was some good stuff.
There was a buddy cop movie
When
where
Hulk was nude.
No, I just like how
Hulk was nude in it.
There was a lot of
which was very odd.
It was almost like they
It
decided.
didn't truly represent.
It's
his
almost like they
penis size.
decided they were going to make Thor Ragnarok a '90s sitcom.
There was a lot of keyboard synth as well.
There was a lot of keyboard stuff. It was just a good, funny movie. Like, you relax, you have fun, you have a couple of laughs. However, I'm aware of that culture, and I just said, they changed it.
So Hulk wasn't in the original Thor mythologies?
All I'm saying is this, okay? And this is going to be a
Your favorite part.
This is going to be a controversial statement, and I'm 100% serious when I say this.
Controversy.
Oh, here we go.
Okay?
Here it comes.
If Thor would have been any other color than white, you'd hear people talk about appropriation. And that's how it is.
I agree with that.
But appropriation is bullshit. You realize that?
Oh,
right?
no, total bullshit.
So, like, we can't use it just because another culture uses it and it's bullshit. We still can't use it.
Sure.
Hey,
I can use it to point out the
Right.
double-sided bullshit that it is.
You know what? You know, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a pagan. You know that, right?
Can you move closer to your mic?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Or pull it closer to you.
And I wasn't offended because, like...
I didn't say I was offended.
The same thing. Like,
I didn't say I was offended.
When you had Christians who were offended by the last temptation of Christ, it's like, but you don't like have a copyright on this for like all eternity. So no, like the Thor, the comic book character, and the guy in the movie has nothing to do. With,
I didn't say I was offended.
with Thor.
I didn't say I was offended.
But
I just
you-
said
but
I
you
was
still-
aware of it.
But that
I did enjoy it.
But you took like the lowest cut denominator common trash argument out there. Appropriation. Oh,
No.
take my culture.
I didn't-
And you tried to use it. You
I
can't
didn't
do
try
that.
to
You
use
can
it.
Chime in anytime.
I didn't try to use it
Yeah.
at all.
I know.
I said
Back me up, Carolina. You know what I'm talking about.
I didn't say that they appropriated. I said if he would have been any other color, they would have people saying that.
But that doesn't make it right. You still
I
don't
didn't
fucking
say it
use
was
that.
right.
All right.
So you did enjoy the movie.
Yes, that's the bottom line. Because I'm trying to decide.
I like how Mr. Crab was Surtur.
If
All right, you went too far.
if this, where are you going?
Oh, damn you, honeycut.
He was though.
We gotta get Mark closer to his mic, or just slide it. Like there's a little knob right there. You just turn it and
Here.
slide it out of the stick.
Pretend it's a dick.
Like slide
Oh,
it.
okay, I got it. Then.
Turn
Please
it-
don't. Please don't.
Martin, turn that little knob right up at the top,
You said knob.
and then you can release it and
All right, is that
insert it
better?
in your mouth.
I'm sorry.
Oh, mine works.
But
that
seriously,
way, too.
don't go
Yeah, you
there
can do
with
that as well,
sorry.
or you
Come
can
on.
just lift this.
It was
part up.
Mr. Crab.
You're killing me, man.
It was Mr. Crab.
But even if it was
Oh,
Mr. Crab,
fancy.
So if Thor was a different superhero name, like it would be okay.
I didn't say it wasn't okay.
If you could have a superhero name, what would you be?
My supervillain name would be
Exposo.
Dr. Anxiety.
Super
Doctor
villain.
Yeah,
Anxiety.
My supervillain name would be Dr. Anxiety.
What if you were a superhero?
Well, I don't know, but I would just be Dr. Anxiety, and like I would like try to order henchmen from Amazon, and like I'd be too afraid to leave my apartment to take over the world.
I was actually listening to
My arch nemesis.
Rogan the other day, and he had a guy on, and he was talking about people with anxiety. Real quick,
Oh, this ought to be good.
he just said that he finds that, and he was a doctor. He found that people with high levels of anxiety have high levels of self-awareness,
I don't even know what that means.
meaning you're very aware of all your
Yes.
emotions.
Yeah. I agree.
Correct?
I only have one emotion. That's to be awesome. Brr, I'm a
But
man.
would you say that's true?
I don't know.
You're not very well connected to yourself,
Probably.
or you're probably more connected than other people, and that's part of what the
Yeah,
issue is.
that's why he's.
Why are you guys trying to psychoanalyze me? He told me that he tries to psychoanalyze me too.
Who does, Todd?
No, I do.
He does.
No. Well, you named yourself Dr.
Kind of
Anxiety.
a hobby.
That's my supervillain name.
Right, and
My arch nemesis would be Captain Catfish, and her kryptonite would be phone calls or pictures of herself.
Oh,
And wait,
wow.
and why would that be kryptonite?
Well, because they would defeat her.
You'd fall for it every time.
Oh, that's her superpower.
He
That's her.
would.
Yeah, her. Super,
What if you were a good guy?
She's a master of disguise.
Like you put on a thing the other day. He had a post on how to get your pro wrestling name, and I was Mr.
You were Captain Mediocre.
It's Mr. Fantastic or some shit like that.
I think Thunder was our
But if I had a superhero name, I would go with Dynamo Kid.
Thunder, I like that.
Hold on.
Oh wait, that is my nickname. What?
Martin's would be
What's your nickname?
the Fabulous
Dynamo
Fox.
Oh, yeah.
Fabulous Fox.
I mean, come on.
What would Carolina be?
What's your last name?
I'm not telling.
It's with a T.
Yours would be Crusher Dynamo.
Oh, whoa,
Shit,
whoa!
It's like a match made in heaven, ladies and
What's
gentlemen.
Todd's name?
It's horrible.
It reflects the choke I would put on you.
Oh,
Axe Thunder. Okay, now
Axe
first
Thunder?
of all,
That's a good porn name.
first of all,
It's coming.
it is
Jesus.
Axe Thunder. Now
I will-
see, she talks
I
some
work
shit
with
there
it.
on the side.
I work with a guy named Dick Steelman.
Oh, that's awesome.
My porn
Which is
name
a
would
fantastic.
my
name.
porn name would be either Rod Mongus or Flood Slathers.
But you're not using the generator for that.
No,
That's just something
came
you
up with
named
them.
yourself.
Um,
And what was the first one?
Rod Mongus.
And how did you come up with that one?
Just make silly names.
From 6th grade through when I graduated from college, I carried a baseball card around in my wallet of a pitcher who pitched for the Cubs whose name was Dick Boner.
And
No.
why did you get rid of the
Come
card, Martin?
on.
I don't know what happened to it.
Someone stole it.
Terrible.
Somebody did steal it, yes, and I think I might know who it is, but I don't know.
Someone
how to,
appropriated it, if you will.
somebody might have appropriated. I don't know how to find her again.
Do you have something new that you carry with you now?
I carry my coin.
I do.
Oh,
actually.
he does.
I do.
Hold on.
Let me see that coin.
Let's find out what Martin. What are you carrying around?
I got a couple things. You want me to start taking them out?
Hey, empty out the pockets.
All right.
I'm really curious. So this is stuff that you have in your pocket all
I
the
do.
time.
Yes.
Okay.
So Marcus Aurelius.
Couple.
quote.
Living the dream.
Hold on.
So
That's just my money. You don't want to see.
is there something that like if you hand it to me, I'll be confused on what it is?
Yes, yes, I'm getting
Talking
it.
about
Give me your
money.
mate.
Oh, we'll get to that. Don't worry.
No. Can
Don't
you
worry.
hand it to me and I'll figure out what this is
Here
real
you go.
quick?
Here you go.
Is that a leaf? Or
It is not. No.
I know it is.
It looks like the teeth of a gopher.
That
What-
gopher put up a hell of a fight.
So what this is basically, and I'm sorry to use this kind of language. This is basically
Is that the vagina bone on something?
no.
It is. It
Anal
is.
bead?
This is basically crystallized semen.
Oh, that's.
And what it is right here is this is a kidney stone that he popped that he shot out.
Completely.
Right. So what
Let me
this
take
is
one more look at
it's
that
a
bullet.
symbolic of a it's an anal bead.
This is a rabbit's
does
vagina.
Not look like
Just
an anal
because
bead.
it has
Let
been
me
in
It's
see.
a
my
rabbit's
ass
vagina.
does not make it an anal bead.
I think you're gonna have to
Snake
smell it.
teeth.
Smell it. He said it was in his ass
I
before.
am not.
It's already in your
Ew,
hand.
Get it off.
It's already in your
Come
hand.
on.
You
you're
might as well smell
European.
it.
You're sophisticated.
Give it a sniff.
I made that up.
Give it a sniff.
has not
I've
been-
watched
I
them.
am not sniffing it.
It
You
is
can
not.
What is
sniff
it, Martin?
Jiu-jitsu.
Here we go.
I'll just put it right here for now.
This is gonna be a story.
Look how much tension he has with
It's
this
coming,
thing sitting
it's
over here.
coming.
It is a story.
But look how tense he is with it, just sitting like a couple feet away from him.
What is it? Did it come out of my ass?
No.
Oh.
All right. I don't know. I mean, I just
It
sleep.
may have. That was a
don't
crazy
know.
night. I'm not. The details are a
Some
little.
things were said.
Details were sketchy at the end. You know, we cried. It was beautiful. Let it go.
Camera's yours. All you, kid.
So what is it?
All right. I don't know exactly what it is, but where I got
So
it.
why
at-
do you carry it?
Suddenly.
We're in the story. We're in deep
all
now.
right. I carry it because it was given to me by someone at a time.
Was Martin having a tough time in life?
Well, no. This is gonna sound.
No, we're all open
You
here.
pulled it out of your pocket,
You
buddy.
did.
But he fucking made me.
I didn't make you do it.
Damn
know what?
you and your beautiful
You know what?
eyes.
If this is sensitive, we don't have to talk about it.
No,
What's in the pocket next?
We can do it. Well, I got my phone.
No, you said you had a bunch of things in
Well,
there.
Chris's superhero name would be Instagram Filter Man.
All right. No, wait, I can do this. I can do
All right,
this.
Martin can do this. Martin can do
This is
this.
going to be kind of in general terms, though.
Pull it.
I know. It's so embarrassing.
That's a good one, bro.
No, if it's embarrassing, we don't have to
No,
talk about it.
him.
I don't have I don't have X-ray vision, but my piercing blue eyes on Instagram will look through your soul.
I can see right through you.
I feel like you're talking right to me. I got it.
Martin's got the floor.
All right, it's all you.
Martin just got lost
Okay,
in my eyes. He
so-
forgot what he was talking about.
I know I did. What, like 46. That was what we were doing. No, that was the
We
wrong
were talking about the
And
rabbit
so-
vagina.
So it does look a little bit like a vagina now that you say that, but I don't know specifically what it is.
Men.
But it was given to me by somebody
Was it a time where you were going through a tough time?
Let's just get to the
It
basics.
was a time when I had to do something that I knew I had to do, but I wasn't real crazy about, and somebody kind of put it in my hand and squeezed.
Did you put a dog?
Who gave it to you? What's the name of the person that gave it to you?
Was it a relative?
Maybe he cannot say it.
An actual name?
We don't have to get the actual name.
Was it
You
a
don't
female
have
or
to
a guy?
say
It was a female.
Okay. Why did
course
she
it
give it to
was.
you?
She wanted him to have a focus point for something.
I think I know what this is about.
Is this a John Wick marker?
Is that?
No. God.
Ah, all right.
I'll talk about that. I got no problem talking about that.
But so somebody gave it to you?
Yes.
And it's something for you to focus on when you get to that point?
Okay. I'll do this, and I'm going to leave a little bit of details out.
Okay.
There was times during a religious ceremony that I had to do something that I wasn't really crazy about
Was it
doing.
killing a small animal?
It was killing an animal, yes.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
And I wasn't crazy about doing that.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. The animal was consumed afterwards.
Oh, so you ate it?
Yes.
Okay, so
It's
like a
not
dinner
okay.
ritual.
That doesn't make it okay.
You eat chicken, right?
I'll get to
Yeah,
you.
I buy an organic
Right,
chicken
but
grass-fed.
somebody
that
killed it.
But
lives
somebody killed
some-
it just because you didn't
It
have the
doesn't
balls to
matter.
do it doesn't mean that.
Oh, hold on.
Oh.
I have the balls to do it. Although, come on, why would you not?
Well, I'm
let it
glad you
live?
have the balls to kill a chicken, because you certainly don't have the balls to get in the ring with me, you chicken.
I can,
Woo!
let's take it. Let's take it outside.
Grass-fed pansy.
Oh Jesus! I wasn't even gonna
Because
go
I'll
there.
feed
So-
you. Woo! One of these.
So we won't get
Let's
into
go.
much
Let's
more
take it
detail about
outside.
that part of it. But the person who gave it to you,
After.
it was something designed to help you through a tough
Yeah,
time.
it was,
so
it was for
down.
strength.
Oh,
Okay.
I brought my belt and,
And
everything.
have you
man.
ever lost it?
Ooh.
No, it's
I'll
been
choke
been
you
with
with
me
it.
ever since. That's been about 23 years.
Is there anything in your wallet that you carry, like a picture or
I-
anything? Like,
I don't have a wallet, just the money.
but it sounded like there was more in the pockets.
I have a coin, but that's really not.
Is it different than his coin or same kind
No,
of
it's
coin?
not that big of a deal. It's just something my daughter gave me, so I carry it. I don't even know what it is. Hold on.
No, this jumped the shark.
Why don't you keep everything in the same pocket?
Yeah, why don't you? Why don't you have a fanny pack?
In retrospect,
Or is that
They're coming back.
get a Manning pack? If you get a leather one, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
this is just a coin that she got from somewhere on the road in Maryland, and because she gave it to me, I carry it.
Is that similar to his coin?
It makes her happy. You can look
Is that
at
the
it.
same kind of coin as yours?
No.
What does
It's
this say?
But-
Maryland.
But clearly, if I do it, it's cooler than.
Oh, it's
him.
got a crab on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Before you lose it.
Oh yeah, thank you, bud.
Todd's gonna steal it. So, back to the.
And just for the record, it's never been in my ass.
Okay, the coin has
The
that.
coin, however, was.
Thank God.
We're talking intestines, baby. It was
So-
way up there.
So you were doing like the superhero generator thing, and then you switched to the wrestling one.
I've got another one. Hollywood rape allegation woman would be a really bad superhero name.
That is a horrible name.
Well, she would have the power to make allegations.
But like porn name.
You all laughed.
like
You horrible people.
the normal like way to get your porn name is
I
what?
saw the cock.
Your middle name and the street you grew up on. Is that how it is usually, right?
True that.
For porn name, so I'm Scott Strawberry. Or I think it's your middle name or your pet's name and something else.
I would be Butch Appletree.
What's that?
I'm Joe Glenwood.
Joe Glenwood. What would yours be? Middle name and the street you grew up on.
I don't know.
You don't know your middle name?
Let me think about it.
It would be Olga
No, the street I grew up on
Oh,
was
that wasn't right.
Dombrovska. So it's
What's that in English?
I would be Mary Jane.
Mary Jane Dombroska?
There it is.
That's a good porn
yeah.
name.
That's
Todd?
good.
That
not
would
bad.
be
You would be
good.
you would be
Alan Strawberry.
Alan
Alan.
Strawberry.
Wow. Wow.
The Strawberry Brothers. How
That sounds
cute.
like a guy
Yeah.
that's doing
DP?
DP?
in the ass.
But you
How do you do DP?
Oh, come on.
But
What?
just in the ass,
Like, you don't
two
know?
cocks in the
It's-
ass.
DVDA?
Yeah, you never seen that?
You never seen DVDA?
Just on print.
What's DVDA?
Double vaginal, double anal.
Like 4?
No. That's come on, dude.
2 in the vagina.
That's
two in the
It's
ass.
physically impossible to have that many people that close
It's
to
just
that central
greedy,
point.
Really, is all it is. I mean, come on, come on. What the fuck?
You can't get 4 people into those 2 points that are this close.
Apparently, no one's ever seen Orgasmo, and no one has ever heard of the name of the band from Matt Parker and Trey Stone from South Park. That's
We're
the name
trying
of
to
the
talk
band.
about real stuff. That's
No, that is
happening.
a real
It's
thing now,
not
though.
Possible.
That is. I'll pull it up.
I don't need you to pull it up. I don't need you to pull it. Put the phone down. You're wasting time on the phone.
I'm not wasting time on the phone.
Todd, is he wasting time on the phone?
I'm
No,
not.
I'd like to see the picture.
You want to see?
Of
There's
course
no
you do.
fucking way. It's just not physically possible.
I'll look it up.
Who's wrong?
So
No, the only time I had 2 cocks in my ass, there was no way anything was fitting anywhere else.
that's how he knows. But there was one episode we did where he rattled off like every like
Me?
and no
Okay,
him like
okay.
every
Well,
initial for every
he's a
like
deviant,
weird thing like all the stuff you would find on Craigslist, right? Like BBM,
BBM.
big black man. Isn't that what that is?
No.
No.
Hey, dude, prom night.
That's like a
Yeah. No, BBM would be
BBS.
MFM,
SQ,
MFM. Would
man
be
for man. Like that's like when they're advertising, right?
SQR.
How do you normally advertise?
How do I advertise?
Yeah, can you just put the phone down? You just fucking
that
wasting
would be
time right now.
M for WW.
DLM.
M for
Desperately
A for
lonely man.
anything.
M for white woman.
A for anything.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, anybody, just please talk to me.
But I don't think they give you some sort of chart like at the beginning of that. So like, how do people like know what they're looking for? Put the phone away.
I found it.
There's always a chance you might get
Oh
something
my
you didn't
God.
bargain for.
Are you gonna play it through the volume? Might as well.
I certainly can.
Somebody's gonna be hurting.
You know what your superhero name would be? Speed bump, because you slow everything the fuck down.
Well, you can move on with that.
Yours, you would be Captain U-Turn because he always. It's all about me, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring it back to me.
Well, you're like 2 minutes into this. All right, so let me see this. Go full screen.
What the fuck is
Oh
Go
no.
full screen for
that's-
me,
that?
please.
Is that like legit porn?
Yeah, but he's saying there's 4 people in this chick in a second, which is no fucking way.
Are we gonna
So
see
they're
you
doing double. They were
Oh,
just.
come
they were-
Okay, I see 2 people there. You're saying
that's-
double.
That's double in the ass.
Okay, you're saying double though.
Hold on, I'll find
He's
one then.
No, just put it away. All right, just put it away.
Double vaginal, double anal.
There's no.
There it is, right there.
So there should be 5 people in the picture.
So Bullet
Hold
looks on
on.
Craigslist.
It's not. They're gonna go. They're gonna go double front, double back. It's not physically possible to
Hold
have
on,
4.
four penetration.
Well,
One male,
clearly
one would be
he
part
saw
of
it, so it's
DV,
possible.
DA.
It's not possible.
Chris, it's he
There we
searches
go.
For one male available for
4
DV,
cocks and
DA.
double vaginal. She
4
take.
cocks?
It's not.
There's-
It's not.
Dude, I gotta.
Just put it away. Just put it away.
I'm just saying, it's
Just-
out there.
just saying.
It's out there in the ether.
Speed bump is his superhero name now.
Good job, Speed Bump.
Yeah.
Speed bump.
Great job, Speed bump.
That's one of those big ones too that slow you really down.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah.
No, I've got that picture in my head now.
Yeah.
You would be Captain Freefall, falling through fucking chairs. fucking.
Now you hurt my feelings.
But
Bullet.
but
do me next. Do me next.
But you this whole thing started because you had put out the wrestling name generator, right?
Yeah. And
Did you watch the Ric Flair thing?
I loved it. I thought. It was, I thought it
Can
was
I
really
give
good.
you my thoughts on it?
Sure, as a
and-
non-wrestling fan.
And I have notes.
Yeah.
I watched it today.
Give me non.
Wait till
give
you
me,
see the number of notes I have.
give me a non-wrestling fan.
and I'll give you my.
turn.
No, I was a wrestling fan back in the day.
Yeah, but you're not really
Right?
a wrestling fan. Yeah, grab some.
Back when Flair was in his heyday. These are all my notes,
Okay,
right?
that's a lot of fucking notes.
Here's what I gathered from it.
Okay.
And all in all, I saw a guy who was very self-centered, only cared about himself, grew up looking for adulation and fame
That's true.
that he did not get from his parents. He was also put up for adoption, so he was never loved.
He was a black market
Right.
baby.
He was never loved, so he didn't feel the need to give that love to his kids because of the way his family treated him.
He's not wrong.
And
You kind of you're not
Right?
you're not far off.
right, great wrestler, horrible dad.
Probably a horrible person. You can even go as far as to say.
No,
Watch
from
yourself.
what I gathered, like the people that like the wrestling guys that knew him,
Here's what you have to understand.
he would go out of his way and give you. But I'm not done analyzing.
analyze them.
So-
'cause I will counterpoint it.
But what I saw is a guy who strives so much for love from people he didn't know, and didn't work for the love of the people that he did know.
What I would say is
Family-wise.
What I would say is this. I think when I think of Ric Flair, especially after that 30 for 30, he's a guy that never really got love at home. So he was always striving for it. So he never really thought he was worthy of it. I think he's a person that found his family, for his adoptive family, for better or worse, was the wrestling community. And here's the thing you have to understand is that these guys were on the road 7 days a week before there was cell phones, FaceTime, things like that. So that was that guy's family. he went back home and he didn't know how to process that.
But he didn't. He was already in wrestling, and he didn't get that character until he had broken his back.
Yeah, he didn't become the Nature Boy till before that.
And
after
and
that,
his gimmick is stolen from Nature Boy Buddy Rogers.
Yeah, he was the original Nature Boy.
Denied that.
No. He admits it in that.
It's always an homage.
And the thing I found interesting.
I gotta admit, it is tragic, right?
Without a doubt.
I dig Flair as much as you do.
Yeah.
But Chris is right. That's all true.
Yeah.
The thing I found interesting was like they played some videos of
Look, you have to pay the price. If you want to be great, you have to pay the price.
guys that are
Look, he said it best before in another interview. He was going to be on the road 7 days a week anyway. If he's going to be away from his family, he might as well be the best fucking guy in the world.
Or you might as well be
That's
with your
true.
family and do the right thing.
best
He's
in the
gonna be
ring, but not as a person.
You can't be the best and be
You
a
look
family
at
guy.
any person
You
who
either
does
or.
anything great, and I guarantee you another aspect of their life, it's lacking.
Shaquille O'Neal. He seems like a pretty well-rounded guy.
He's not playing anymore, though.
When he was playing.
I think he cared only about
You think?
himself.
Yeah,
Seems
right.
like he was a good family guy.
Bullshit.
What family?
He was married with kids.
He
Oh,
was.
come on,
And what
social
happened?
He's still married.
media
He
and
got
all.
divorced.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he did not.
Okay.
Are you gonna get your phone out again and slow the party down?
Do you want me to?
Family only looks good on the picture. Come on.
Thank you. Now, here's the
Whoa,
deal.
no.
Oh,
I
what's
agree with
wrong?
you. I agree with you.
It's true.
No,
That's
no,
a saying in Poland.
I know.
It
That
is
only
what
Here's
it
the
looks
is.
thing.
good in a picture.
If you have
Come
a
on, everybody smiles for the picture, but come on, everybody's thinking.
You don't love your
something in
mom?
there. Oh, I love my mom.
But it only looks good in a picture.
But I only I have to smile the way she wants me to smile. You know what I mean? It's not.
we
like,
know people.
Can we see just your smile now?
Yeah, let's
No.
see it. Go ahead.
It's just you right now.
Throw it in there.
It's a beautiful smile. Come on, do it.
But
No.
I don't think to be a supreme athlete or somebody famous, you have to sacrifice
Yes,
your
you do.
family.
No,
agree,
not
Chris,
you
don't.
have to make sacrifices.
You might do it because you're a selfish prick, but you don't have to do it.
It's not necessary.
Name me one person that achieved greatness and is a great guy.
Martin. Friend Martin.
So name me a person that really achieved greatness and.
Rocky. No, I'm
No,
just
you know what I'm saying?
Hey, buddy, how you
Name me.
getting home?
Yeah, I
I'm
know, right?
sure there's a long list of them.
No,
Name one.
But you're both right and you're both wrong. Of
I'm
course.
talking about him because I
Wayne
watched
Gretzky.
this
Wait,
documentary
what is
on
your
it.
Wayne
question
Gretzky.
again?
Name me one.
Wayne Gretzky.
One person that
Wayne
what?
Gretzky.
Good job, Todd.
Thank you. Best hockey
Yeah.
player ever.
Ever.
Seriously.
Great
And-
family
and-
man.
Great family
Best-
guy.
How do you
No,
know
fuck it,
that
Bruiser
he's a
Brody.
great family
you forgetting
man?
about Brody?
He was a piece of shit.
What?
Bruiser Brody was a piece of
Oh,
shit.
you are so far from reality.
Was Dusty Rhodes a good family guy?
No.
No, he was not. No.
Maybe it's just pro wrestlers in general that
Brody
suck
was
at being family members.
You know what? You think he's a piece of shit because you're a pro wrestling mark and you're not getting the fact that Brody
No.
cared about his family.
No, I would say
Brody
that
cared about only his family.
Would
he
you
didn't care
sac-
about his opponents in the ring.
Let me
He
ask you
did
this,
not.
Bullet.
He did not. But fuck them.
Yeah, right?
You love your kid, right?
Yeah.
Right.
If you want to be great at something, would you sacrifice?
No, but that's why I'm not great at anything.
But you,
Can I,
This is why I know.
Can I
I'll
give a
beat
but you idolize a guy who
Choke.
yeah, right.
didn't have
We'll
that
get to you in a
aspect to
minute.
him.
The person who
But
was-
you're good at being a dad. But you idolize a guy who was horrible at it.
I'm okay at no. I see, here's the thing. It was explained. It was explained perfectly by the Undertaker in that documentary. Is you're sitting at work and like, wouldn't it be cool to just travel the world and do whatever you want and be surrounded by hot chicks and this and the next thing, and you live vicariously through them. The problem is,
But he didn't do it just once. He went through like multiple marriages and
lived,
families.
He lived his gimmick. He didn't know where the character ended and the real person began.
Right.
That
so-
was his.
so-
that's
so
his
he
fault.
was pretty fucking pathetic.
That's his fault. You better watch what you say about the Nature Boy.
But he was.
You know
right?
one of my favorite parts?
I love him too, but he was.
Apparently you don't. You can't have any more of my whiskey. You can talk about the Nature Boy like that.
Bullet. One of my favorite parts.
Well, I was completely
hearing-
wrong, and you were right, of course.
Todd's got something.
Was hearing Hogan talk about how good Ric Flair was.
Oh well, because Hogan knows, dude. He can't
I
say
would have
shit.
never thought.
Can
that.
I talk for a couple minutes about Brody?
Who is Brody?
Bruiser Brody
Bruiser
was a
Brody.
legendary
Bruiser
pro,
Brody,
pro
yeah.
wrestler.
Are you going to talk about how he was a good family member?
He absolutely was. All he cared about was his family. He knew that bringing in money, what was going to take care of his family. There was a time, this little shit promotion in Memphis, where him and his partner in Japan, Stan Hansen, came in, and they were supposed to lose to their tag team champions. But the last thing they told him before they went to the ring was, there's members of the Japanese media here. Brody made all his money in Japan.
He was like, "Fuck
Yeah.
that."
Yeah, right. He said, fuck that. And he went out there, and these two unsuspecting jobbers, he beat the piss out of.
Basically, Bruiser Brody got stabbed to death in Puerto Rico because he was such a prick to work with.
No. You gonna try to defend Huertas? Seriously? Fuck him.
No, I wasn't.
Huertas?
Jose Huertas, known as the Invader in Puerto Rico, a complete piece of shit, and he stabbed Bruiser and Brody.
Bragged about it and let him die in the locker room.
Yeah,
some of the stuff I found interesting.
I'm a backup.
Some of the things I found interesting was like, I mean, definitely Conor McGregor kind of follows the Ric Flair kind of attitude, right? Well, there's a prime example right there.
I admire
of a guy who cares about his family and didn't sacrifice him.
But the difference
Conor
is,
McGregor.
The
difference is he performs 3 times a year at best.
And the difference
has
is
nothing to do with it.
Sure, it does.
No, the biggest difference is
sure it does.
And he's early though. He's early in his.
The biggest difference is MMA is real.
Oh, boy. Shit, did he just go there?
No. Let's be honest. MMA, like, it's one man competing against another, and somebody's going to win.
You can't compare them.
In pro wrestling, they know who's going to win, so it's not the same thing.
No.
You can't compare that. It's not the same thing.
So he was the best at knowing who was going to win already?
You can't compare.
Right, but that's why it wasn't the same thing, because Conor didn't know if he was going to win going into the cage.
And you don't think Conor's sacrificing at the gym every day of the week?
Flair knew every time whether he was going to win or whether he was going to lose.
You can't compare them. They're completely different. Conor McGregor.
You compared them. What? Well, somebody did. I don't know. It was you. Maybe it was you.
Conor McGregor.
Maybe it was Carolina.
Conor McGregor.
Maybe.
Conor McGregor competes in a sport where he trains near home.
But that's the difference. It's a sport.
Does he put in long hours every day at the gym?
It's not.
He goes home every night.
But it's a sport.
No, he does a lot of media. He does a lot of travel, a lot of social.
3 times a year when he fights.
I love
that
pro
dude's
wrestling,
always somewhere.
but it's not a sport.
Sure it is.
It's not. It's just
sure
not.
It is.
It's not one man competing against another.
Sure it is.
Does anybody remember that? It's not that Heartbreak Kid moment when he kicked him.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Marty Jannetty through the. Yeah.
No.
No.
Sorry.
I love you.
Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry. I love you.
But that was all. You trying to tell me that was genuine?
Yes.
I think it was.
It was not. Come on, man.
I didn't feel the love.
How long have you been watching wrestling?
Still real to me.
You're a mark.
Still real to me.
You're a mark.
But
to you, in reality, you in your. Never mind.
But
hit me with it.
Love you, brother.
Hit me with it. Hit me with it.
But
hit me with it.
No,
I want you to hit me with it.
He's the same
Just
guy.
saying your perception and reality aren't necessarily always the same thing.
Oh, I know that.
Sometimes they're a little skewed and go in different directions.
And I love wrestling, but it's not the same as an athlete.
Everybody's perception.
Sure it is.
It's not.
They're definitely athletic. Let's not kid ourselves.
Without a doubt.
They're
right?
professional athletes.
And it's not easy, and I couldn't do it. There's no doubt about it. But it's not the same as somebody who's actually competing because it's predetermined when they walk in.
But it's not fake.
Oh no!
But
no, the violence is real. There's no question.
You
about
can't
that.
fake gravity.
Right.
But you're saying that like these guys that are pro athletes, the guys that play other sports, aren't sacrificing stuff.
What Martin is trying
Ric
to say.
Ric Flair was so far ahead of the game and so fucking awesome
It's because
that
Flair's
nobody
one of his
compares
heroes,
to what
and I
he
get it.
did.
I get it.
What Martin is trying to say is that you can be. He feels that you can be great without being a total shitheel of a husband and a parent.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
Right.
I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, if you look, Wayne Gretzky is the exception to the rule. If you compete in anything,
Kobe Bryant.
We're not just talking sports.
Dude,
we're talking.
He didn't rape that bitch. Are you serious, man?
Look,
I mean, woman.
if you're a high,
Sorry.
if you're a high level athlete,
thank
or you're a musician chasing a dream, if you're an artist, any type of thing where you have to have a certain degree of selfishness. That's why many of these people do not have families until their careers are done, or they're in a place to where they can say, "Nah, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I don't have to do that." Now it's a different time where you have the ability to communicate through voicemails, text messages, cell phones, FaceTime, all that shit. Maybe. It was a different time back then. I'm not excusing his behavior.
You're idolizing it.
Yeah.
Well, here's another guy. You take a look at a guy like this. There was a guy who used to compete.
Give me somebody who's not a wrestler.
I'll give you a guy who was a wrestler who was completely different.
That's
Jimmy Jam Garvin from the Freebirds.
Okay.
He was married to. He's still married to the same chick he's always been married to. He retired from wrestling and became a very successful pilot, and now he's a private pilot for these billionaires. And he's happy. He's successful. He's a good family guy.
What do you think Ric Flair's net worth is right now?
Not a lot because he's had a lot of divorces.
Yeah,
the problem with Flair is
his best year he was making $700,000 a year.
But that's back then.
And probably spending 12.
No, best ever. I looked it up earlier. I was
but
reading up on
you
it.
got to do the inflation thing.
Right.
The thing is that Ric Flair is a guy that, from a very early age, never received love from his parents, didn't think he was worthy of it, didn't know how to process it, and he basically.
Can you do it in Ric Flair's voice?
Please.
Do you want me to tell? You want me to tell Martin? I'll tell Martin.
Tell
and Ric
Martin.
Flair.
Go ahead, do it.
No,
And
I
then-
won't.
And then I'll rebut.
I love Ric Flair's work. I separate the art from the artist.
It doesn't sound like you do.
Oh, okay. Right. If that
Doesn't
was,
sound
if
like
was
that at
true,
all,
was
does
fine,
it?
But I don't.
I
think
don't
you
know Richard Flair. I know Ric Flair.
Right.
My relationship is with Ric Flair, living vicariously through Ric Flair. Now, whether Richard Flair,
But do you really want to be Ric Flair?
yes,
You do?
I live alone now.
Fuck that. I
The
don't want that
fuck-
shit.
And
We had this conversation
Yeah,
on
we
the way
did.
up here.
We did, and I don't.
We
I-
had
I
this
don't want
conversation
that.
on the way up here where a lot of people were like, "Oh man, it's so cool. You live alone. You can do whatever you want." I'm like, "Yeah, but there's a flip side to it where it doesn't matter what kind of a day you have, whether you have the best day or the worst day, you've got nobody to share it with. It doesn't matter if it's your birthday, America's birthday, Jesus's birthday. You've got
What if it's
you're
Ric
coming home
Flair's
to
birthday?
you're coming home to an empty house. So that's the flip
I
side to
agree
it.
with that.
But I am now hardwired for that. I cannot live with a person. I could never live full time with a person. I can't do it.
You could.
No, I can't.
Yeah,
I'm
you
telling
could.
you. I'm telling
I'm
you.
telling
what
you
if
you could.
said
I live with you.
person was a gigantic wrestling fan?
Or
Stop
was it? Or if
it.
it was Ric Flair?
And you know what? I love the fact that Todd's microphone's not on and he's still leaning into it the whole time.
I noticed that. I thought it was on this all
He's
time.
finally got himself trained.
I'm telling you. I don't think the only time that let me put it this way: if I had a choice, circumstances notwithstanding, I would say, "Fuck it, I'm going to live by myself." Obviously, if my kid's like, "Hey, I got to move in with you," then okay. But
well,
Right. So
See,
so
like,
then
but
I
if
live
I had
on
a
my own.
choice,
But that's not the truth, though, right? Then
that is the
Because-
truth.
because
How about little Katie?
Yeah.
You
talk
would
loud,
let
you
little
gotta-
Rocco move in with you. I know
100.
You would. Right.
Yeah.
So then that's not true.
How about little Katie?
I would let Katie move in.
No, Katie
Oh.
wants to talk.
Well, what I'm
Who's-
saying
I'd
is.
make you a nice
I thought you
breakfast.
were Carolina. Who's Katie?
Kate.
Hey,
you're
hey.
good. You just got to point it towards you.
We would
Oh, I
wrestle and
see.
see who takes the trash out.
Well, I live on my own.
She would stomp on your foot.
But
and you
but
would
I
cry
agree
like a
with you.
bitch.
I
would
think
love
that it's you get used to the fact that you live on your own, but
I'm telling you, I'm wired to be alone.
I think you're missing that something. That I mean, I have 2 cats. I talk to them all the time.
I
Call
don't-
me
I've
crazy
got-
cat lady.
I've got
Sorry,
bass guitars.
but well, that's fine. The
But you at least
point
have something to
is
interact with.
You need love and happiness. You need somebody to talk to. I'm sorry.
I've got my
you-
Amazon Echo.
It's not
Oh,
about that.
she's
You
hot, though.
need
Alexa
somebody
is
to
hot.
talk to,
I think Bullet needs a cat.
whether or not.
No.
I think
It's
Bullet
not
does
even a
need
cat. It's you have to talk to
The
somebody.
only time
to
that my
someone who's
apartment,
gonna talk back
the
to
only
you.
time,
You need somebody
the
to live
only
in.
time that my apartment feels lonely is maybe the first half hour after I take my son home. That's it.
Zoom out.
That's the only time.
No, it's fine on camera.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's the only time.
But-
other than that, I'm fine. I'm telling you,
but-
I'm. Some people are better left alone.
Gotcha.
That's me.
But
well, I'm an introvert as well. I like
It's not
to
bad about
spend
better
time
or
on my
worse.
own.
It's like-
Better for me and better for them.
Although-
It's whatever you have. right?
Although everybody needs someone.
Everybody
with.
needs somebody sometimes.
It's not wrong though, right? Because like when I-
Everybody needs HD porn on their TV.
No, you don't
You
need
should
to-
sing.
Quadruple
I love
penetration.
It sounds
Right,
really
because
good on
he's
the
got a great
microphone.
voice.
He's got a good voice.
He
He's got a
does.
great voice.
You can sing for me every day.
I would do. I'd be like,
Yeah.
if
He actually
Katie
has
would
some talent, and
make me breakfast.
I hate to admit that he has some singing talent.
Yes.
I would
but,
rub her
like,
feet
watch-
when she comes home from jujitsu.
Watching this thing, like anybody who
Choking
wasn't
you out.
anybody who wasn't a wrestler just
Had
talked
to.
about the disappointment they had in him as a person,
Yeah, probably.
right?
Yeah.
And
you're not wrong.
yeah, and the fact, not that you think it's acceptable. I just find it odd that, yeah, I got notes.
Yeah, he said
I got a shitload of
Yeah,
notes.
Triple H called him right out. Said he was a consummate liar.
First wife said,
Truth.
not a family man, loves his kids, but don't trust them.
Oh,
And why would you?
Yeah.
that's kind of like the
He
trend.
broke up with her, or he used to stay over at what, Greg Valentine's house all the time and bang his second wife until
Let's talk about what
they got
happened to
divorced.
Reed. You want to go there?
Yeah, son.
Yeah, he was like best
It's-
friends with his kid, and like
who's dead.
essentially encouraged drinking
Yeah.
when the kid was like
Yeah.
16.
And now he's dead. So
Well, I don't think he killed him. I mean, that kid probably had an issue anyway. Like some of
Maybe.
that stuff's ingrained, I think,
Yeah,
right?
but he saw him take the pills and just thought,
Yeah,
"Eh,
right.
it's
Staring at
fine, or
yourself.
that's exactly right.
I'm sorry.
I'll
I'm
just put him to
pretty.
bed."
Just kidding.
Yeah, it was sad. I don't care. He won the 1992 Royal Rumble, entered number 2, and he won the title. You guys can't say anything.
But-
Kev,
but
I love pro wrestling too. But let's be real here, okay?
I did find it. It was definitely an interesting documentary for sure, and I watched it because I knew how important it was to you, and I wanted to have a conversation about it.
I was selling it.
But I was really taken aback
Just
by
call him
the part
baby.
that he, to me, like I said, he was a guy who didn't get the love, and then
you wanted to see the baby's arm holding the apple, didn't you?
yeah.
Yeah, his
He
parent-
didn't get the love, and then he when he had the opportunity to not do what his dad did to him, he did the same as his father.
And his
What was,
kid,
what was the other thing that he did?
and his
was
kid
it,
ended up dead.
Was it Hart? Who was the promoter guy who had the stroke?
Jim Ross.
Jim Ross. When he was talking about, hey, we're hanging out at the bar.
commentary guy.
Yeah, he
That-
can't just
that-
sit and
he just
relax.
He just can't sit there, whether it's hanging out with a girl or other dudes.
Do you think that he has some sort of anxiety issues as well? Maybe.
I love how you guys always try to bring this back
I
to
didn't
me.
bring it- well,
No.
well,
I'm not asking you. You're my expert in the room on anxiety.
I'm not an expert.
True that.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in anxiety.
You're anxious, right?
No.
Yeah. Why are you getting anxious?
You
Well,
look-
you're a subject of anxiety.
You look a little anxious.
I'm not anxious.
You want me to tap you again?
Hold on.
I-
It's my turn now.
I'm
She-
sorry.
She's actually going to school for
feel like I'm get-
psychology.
Yes.
Oh,
psychology and
yeah,
boy.
sociology.
We're trying
she's
to
just-
That's
psychoanalyze
why.
me.
That's
She's
why I
knee
was
deep in the
telling
middle of a
you.
paper right now.
She could do a paper on me. This guy
I'd
is...
rather not.
Yeah, because you would fucking...
Subject.
I would write too much.
You would. You would write...
I could.
You're a little too close to
Would
the
you like
subject.
me to?
You're a little too close to
What
the
do you
subject.
see about Bullet?
He
Like,
did
what
This
does
ought
he
to be
see?
good.
He
This
did
ought to be
challenge
good.
you.
I
Let's
think I
lay him
told
back.
you
Hold
that
on, lay back in your
once.
chair, and Caroline is she's gonna analyze you for a minute. Start with some basic questions.
Bullet.
Yes.
So,
Is your name Bullet?
It is not.
so how do you feel about anxiety?
How do I feel about it? I don't understand the
Yes.
question.
He's anxious about it.
Why
Honestly,
are you anxious? What makes you anxious?
not being in any situation or room that I can have complete control over.
Is
Why
there
do you
is
need
there
the
ever a
control?
room you have
Oh,
complete
wait,
control
wait.
over?
Yeah.
Hold
When
on.
have you ever walked
sorry.
in a room and had
Sorry.
complete
Sorry.
control?
His own apartment.
Yeah. Why? Because I feel safe.
But you come here all the time, and
Right.
we're on you the second you walk in the fucking
But I
door.
know it
Safe.
because I feel safe here.
He feels safe because you guys are his friends.
Yeah, and I know
Yeah.
this place.
Although,
That's
if
true.
you had somebody living with you, you wouldn't trust them. So you basically have trust issues.
Oh, 100%. But I wouldn't
Well,
have anybody live with
let
me
me ask
anyway.
you
But
a question,
why?
man.
Why do you
Hey,
have trust
buddy.
issues? What?
I give you a call tomorrow and I say, Abby kicked me out, whatever.
Oh, I would have you stay with me in a
You
second.
would let me move in, right?
Not permanently.
Not me. Exactly. That's
No.
exactly what I say.
That
I
hurt.
mean, if I
That hurt.
have to let
Yes, would you
you
let me move in if I had
live
to?
here,
Absolutely not.
see?
I'm just being
Tom,
honest.
Help me,
Mark.
buddy. Would you let me?
6 hours.
I
You know, I'll give you 7. You know,
7.5.
definitely for one night, and then
Yes.
get
I
you
don't
out the
even
door the
think
next
it's
day.
a-
I'm a homeless motherfucker. I better be nice to my wife.
But I gotta, you know,
I got it. I got it.
But you gotta think like
know.
that'd be the
could
same as me
probably-
coming to your
I
house.
have a spare bedroom.
You got kids and
Just
stuff,
for a
and
week,
then
though.
like they're gonna see me sitting on the couch
right,
jerking
right,
off.
right.
Like what the fuck?
Right, and if I join you, that would be really weird.
Yeah, it's really
Really
strange.
weird.
I
Hey, what
would-
are you guys doing? We're just jerking off.
Yeah,
together.
right. It's like, yeah,
I
we're-
just wouldn't feel
we're right to
comfortable.
midget point.
You just
know,
don't make eye contact.
Everything in my apartment has its place.
Yes.
Put it in perspective.
But
Thank
everybody
you.
can learn that place. I know it's hard because
Like when you made me take
I
my
live on
shoes
my
off
own.
and you looked at me like
I
I shit on the
have
carpet earlier. Come on, tell
everything.
about that.
It is clean
certain
though. It's
way
clean.
Yeah,
that
right.
I like to
Like
have it.
here's one of the things we talked about last
Hey,
week.
let me
Like
tell you
on a
something.
daily basis, I make conversation with strangers,
I do not.
right?
Yes.
Just to entertain myself.
Me too.
Not worried about what they think or how
I-
they judge or anything like that. Excuse me. This dude won't even have a basic conversation with a stranger.
No, I wouldn't either.
Well-
I mean, what are strangers?
No.
Oh,
Why?
dude, I
Why
love
not?
talking to strangers.
If I do,
Here's
Why
a prime
not?
example.
Are
Hang on,
you-
real quick. I was in Home Depot yesterday, right?
So you got a hand job?
No, but Bill Withers was playing on the radio
Even
in
with
the
those
store,
even
right?
with those baby blues.
With the baby blues, Bill Withers is playing on the radio,
I'll
right?
give you a hand job right now. If
Old,
you
old 1970s, early 80s music, fucking
Oh,
playing
I
it,
love
and I'm
it.
sitting in the tool section just tapping my foot, right? And this old black gentleman comes out to me and goes, "Man, I got some good music back in the day." I'm like, "You're fucking right." Right? And we had like a 10-minute conversation about music.
He wanted to give you a hand job.
And then he walked off, and that was the end. I'll never see that dude again, but I'll remember the conversation I had about Bill Withers
Exactly, right?
in the tool section looking for a propane torch.
With
just
the dude
picture-
who
I
wanted
just-
to give you a hand job.
What
I
did
just
you do
picture
I
to
don't
Same
think he was
Chris,
going that
like,
route with the
Are you
conversation.
making creme brulee?
Sitting under a sign that says Tool.
Yeah. Master tool.
But I'm having a random conversation with a dude, and
Not me.
and
Why not?
there's
Why would I?
I don't get it.
Why
either, I gotta
not?
be honest.
But why would I?
But
I
why
love you, bro,
not?
but I don't
My question is, why not?
hold on.
Because-
Please
I do it
tell
all
me.
the time.
'Cause
Why?
I
All
just,
the time.
First time Martin came
Don't
here,
want
how
to.
welcome did you feel?
I felt really well.
just don't.
Yeah.
Did
Why?
he leave?
That's how I am with every stranger.
Right, and him-
You have
he
to have an
stayed.
explanation
Yeah.
for it. You
well,
do.
Well, that's the truth. The first time I came over,
I just
I
wouldn't
knew
feel
Chris was a
comfortable.
good dude.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
And even
And Bullet
even
was
his-
worried
his-
I was going to treat you wrongly.
I knew you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And even if you did, like, I'd just walk away like, fuck.
I would
that
never
guy.
just
Yeah,
have a.
fuck that guy.
I would never just have a random conversation with a person.
But I think
But
that should
see,
be...
that's because what he was saying in the beginning, because you're aware of your emotions.
I
You're
feel-
afraid
I feel.
of
Or-
talking to a
What
stranger.
she's trying to say is you're a chick.
No. But excuse me.
I feel closer to
In
characters in movies and books than I
Okay.
do real
How
people.
about pro wrestlers named Rick?
But that's because they're fantasy
Right.
people. They don't exist.
Buddy.
No.
You know I love you, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like
You're
talking
one
to
of my,
animals.
You're one of my favorite people in the world. I'm not lying about that.
Mike,
I could
You
tell
got
him.
that?
Yeah, you're
so
talking to Mike.
Where's the fucking?
No, what are you looking for? What are you looking for?
You and your technology. But
You and you,
but
you damn kids with your technology.
I know you kids with your internets. But you're wrong about this.
So you're kind of like Bullet.
How am I
like,
wrong?
Where you won't start a conversation with just a random person?
If they talk to me, I would be polite. But I just don't know why. Like why?
Why not? How can you go through life not interacting with people? You
But I
sometimes,
do. I interacted with you when me and you met. We never knew each other
Right.
before, right?
But
And now, dare I say, we're friends,
If
right?
yeah, absolutely.
if I have to interact with
So-
someone, I have to filter it through. A character.
But
Right.
that's where I don't.
But-
What
think.
character?
You went too far there. You went too far there.
Yeah.
Filter it through you, Kevin Honeycutt, whatever the fuck. your
Yeah,
name is. I don't
but
fucking
but
remember.
I had an
Whatever.
I had an interaction with this gentleman yesterday, right?
Yeah, but I'll filter it through a character.
I walked.
What
a-
character?
You can't do that shit.
he-
though.
The one
he's
that's-
just not. He
the
he-
one that's on the show, the loud, obnoxious.
No,
I
he-
filter it
he's
through
acting.
Martin Carr. That's me. You know.
Oh, this isn't Bullet.
Yeah,
No,
if you're
I
gonna
wouldn't
if you're a
say that it's
stranger
not
and you
me.
talk to Bullet, he's
I should
acting
become a
to.
psychologist.
He's
I'm
acting the
telling
way
you.
he thinks a normal person should act in that situation, right?
But let me tell you, I
You
like
really want me to talk
this
about
guy
it?
from the first time I met him. I did. He was fat and he had long hair and he was kind of pathetic. I could tap you.
What is he now?
Oh, I went
I
there.
could
went
tap
there.
you.
Yeah, I tapped you.
I feel the same way.
Hey, tell the truth. I tapped you.
Oh yeah, once. You
Tapped. First and last, baby. First and last. So
I find
I always had a soft spot for the guy.
I,
Like,
I
think
find for me
he's
it's
a good person.
it's easier to navigate the waters by being
There are no waters.
um
Oh, this is what I try to get through to you.
No.
There's no
Stay
waters.
close to the mic.
Yeah, fuck whatever anybody else thinks. Who the fuck cares?
Exactly.
That's the way I go
Fuck
through my
them.
day. and
that's why I don't talk to them.
Are
That's
they
why
paying
I-
the bills?
Fuck,
Are they
fuck
like?
what they care.
That's why I do talk to them
Talk
because
to
I don't
the-
fucking care.
And that's why I don't talk to them.
Exactly.
I had such a
Right.
good interaction with this old guy yesterday.
Oh,
Like
man.
we
It
literally
makes you
like,
feel better.
we bonded for like a
No.
couple minutes.
Exactly.
And,
Did he
and I
Your
walked.
balls?
No, the right one. He tickled the right one for a
Oh,
second.
okay. Well,
But-
it's
Did
totally
he
worth
have
it, man.
one or
Pussy.
two balls?
But I walked away from
He's
the
gotta have two, right?
conversation.
You got two, right?
Yeah,
All right.
actually 3. It's I got an extra one.
It's on his head.
Yeah.
That made me feel inadequate. What are you doing here, man?
But what it is like I had this interaction with this random person, right? And I walked away and I'm like, you know what? That was a good conversation. I'll never see that person again. And like
Okay,
you
yeah,
miss
yeah,
those
yeah.
little moments throughout the day where you can just kind of talk with people and joke with people and just laugh about something for no reason.
But was that a real connection? I mean, I don't know.
Was the
I'm
gentleman
asking.
older?
Yeah, he was probably
But
late
he
60s.
probably made his day as well.
Yeah, and that guy probably
You
looking
know?
for somebody to talk
Okay,
to.
okay.
He might be living at home with 2 cats or a bunch of bass guitars and
Whoa,
not fucking
wait.
talk.
Or,
Is there
some
any-
hat wearing beard with tattoo guy named Bolt.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I would
Is
just
there
wouldn't do it.
anything wrong
I
with
wouldn't
people
open.
that
I
are
am not
cuts?
interested in opening myself
But
up
you
for that.
could make someone
But
else's day.
But you gotta
How
see
we
where there's
treat
nothing
every
wrong with
That's
it,
true.
right?
We meet.
Although it would
When
make
we go
your
to
day.
No, it
Hang
wouldn't.
on a second.
I'll
tell you what makes my day.
Toddy has the question.
How about every waiter we meet when we meet in lunch?
Todd and I meet for lunch at least once a week
Okay.
in multiple restaurants, and some of them we
It-
go to
Just
on a
saying
regular
It
basis.
wouldn't kill you to throw me an invite the next time you guys get
do that.
Exactly, yeah.
But Todd and I will have lunch.
You come.
I will.
I haven't even been invited. I didn't know what's happening.
And the one chick at Red
Certainly would
Robin,
if I was there.
I'm gonna cry.
she is highly entertained by us, but she acts like she doesn't like us at all.
How old
that's
is
her
she?
You're
thing.
probably.
Which,
That's her thing.
she's probably 40s, whatever.
But let me tell you.
But we
a
fuck with
brick
her all,
up-
like,
a brick
hard.
upside the head, and she'll change her tune.
Maybe that's what she's doing with you. She's fucking with
No,
you.
she is, and we get that. And then we'll go eat other places, and it's the same thing. Like him and I are engaging with whoever is waiting on us.
Are they always nice
Like-
or no?
No.
No, sometimes they're bitches, and we go
They don't-
even
they don't-
harder, like to entertain ourselves. Like the
I
one chick at
wonder
Buffalo
why.
Wild Wings, she's just a fucking
Bitch.
Oh, I'm
Bitch.
sorry. Buffalo Wild Wings is the worst. The
Right.
worst servers on earth.
When you
remember when we used
Yeah.
to go there? Oh my
You're
god.
you're a
No,
bartender.
These people
We-
suck
we-
ass.
we-
When you're talking to,
Period.
when you're talking to people at your bar, are you talking to them just to be polite, or are you just having
Oh
conversations?
no, I'm super chill. I
Right, you're
always
having
have
conversations,
fun.
you're friendly.
No,
And
I'm
which bar
trying
is
to
this?
have fun
You're
when
not
I'm
trying
working.
to squeeze
And
money
which
out
bar
of
is
them.
No,
this?
no, not at all. What?
Which bar is this?
I'll tell you after the show.
Oh.
I'd
So-
rather
so when they
not say.
stalkers.
What if? What?
She
yeah,
doesn't
you
want
never
me to
know.
know.
I
That's
get
fine.
many
But
Do you really?
stalkers.
I had one.
they're a dime a dozen.
I mean,
Did they ever catfish
come
you?
on.
Did they ever catfish
don't
you?
start on that. We're not doing that.
All my stalkers are buried in my backyard. It's all good.
But what I would
Oh.
like to see is
You have
is
to tell
just
me.
just take a moment, and when you're interacting with people,
That wasn't a joke.
when
Are you holding?
No, he grabbed my
I
leg.
just noticed. Oh my
Well,
God.
when you're out in the world and you're and you have an opportunity to be funny, right?
Chris isn't wrong here. Go on, buddy.
Just say something funny to see how the other person reacts.
Exactly. Yeah.
Chris, can we do a 30 on 30 with
On
him?
Bullet?
With Bullet.
I wouldn't do
Same,
it.
Same
Oh,
setup.
I
No, you know why? Because his nickname's Speed Bump, and it would be like 120 on 120.
Hold on a second, guys.
Hold on, guys. I gotta look up a quadruple penetration and never find it.
Quadruple.
I wouldn't do it anyway. I just wouldn't do it. I'm not interested. So the UFC.
But would it kill you? Would it kill you?
Would it kill me?
Yeah.
Yep.
It might.
Find out what
Would it kill
is
you,
or to
Martin?
do it.
No, I could take anything.
I think you could do it. You're the hottest guy at the IRS, right?
Social Security.
So scared. I'm sorry.
But let me tell you, I can take a hideous amount of punishment.
Right, but I have a hard time wrapping my head around why. Like it seems like it's more work to not interact with people than it is to just have some conversations.
No,
Right?
it's not. It's not at all. Actually, I just go through my day. and
Sometimes. on
I'm
the
very.
other
I'm not antisocial. I'm.
Yeah, you are.
I'm
Maybe a
socially
little bit.
selective.
Maybe a little bit. But no, I gotta.
When's
say,
the last time you made a
talk to
new
me.
friend? Who's your
Exactly,
Who's your
yes,
most
that's a
recent
good
friend that
idea.
you've made besides Carolina?
If it's me, buddy, you're
No,
in
no, no.
trouble.
Somebody that you didn't know through
Aw.
somebody else.
Right.
You haven't.
Hold on, I'm thinking.
Are
Is
all
that-
your friends
No.
through other people?
The first time I let you bang my wife.
Oh, come on!
Remember, it was quadruple penetration.
Right.
I
Well,
hope she doesn't
with me
listen
and him,
to
it wasn't
it.
quadruple.
I
It was
really
like
hope.
maybe
I'm
like
sorry for
half
him.
a single. But
You're
you know,
just dipping a ball in there.
we-
we're Irish. What the fuck do you?
We managed to dock inside her.
Who's a who is a friend?
Love you, buddy.
Who,
You-
What's everybody else?
it just felt like the right thing.
Because it looks like a penis. That's why.
Who's a friend that you have that you made recently that you didn't know through somebody else?
Oh, shit.
There's probably nobody.
You're not
I was going
do
to
it.
say me, but
No, you know him through me.
It's very uncomfortable to meet friends that way, and I get that, but
Like you've never met somebody with common interests somehow, and then you just
How about
fucking
from
hit it off.
how about from work? Just meet somebody from work?
What about the slow motion
don't you work
karate
at
guy?
home?
Who's holding the camera when you do the slow motion karate?
I've known Rob for 15 years.
But right, that's a friend you
Where he
made,
gets the
right?
guitar
15 years ago.
But there's never been anybody
Hey,
local
hey,
that you've
tomato,
had
tomato.
a common interest in that you've just made friends with, and they're not friends with anybody else you know.
Hey, buddy, that
No.
corpse I have
No.
in my trunk
How did you get in your band?
Right.
How about all the women you
Marty.
slept with?
my buddy Marty that I've known
Yeah.
for like 17, 18 years.
How did you meet Marty?
Marty is a
Through
good
work.
dude. Yeah.
That counts.
How long ago was that?
17 years ago.
Oh my god.
That's his last friend. Right?
You.
How did we become friends?
Yes, you.
Through Wilson.
shit.
Wilson told me.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean,
I know
there's
you
got to
through
be
him, and
there's
it's-
got to be like people you've made friends with that you have common interest in somewhere in your life.
Who's that Asian guy who lives upstairs from you?
He's not friends with.
I don't talk to my neighbor at all.
That
Fuck
Asian
that
dude?
dude. He's weird as shit. No, he's not
Oh.
Asian. I
What
swear
if
to
he's
God.
watching the
That guy,
show?
that guy's weird as shit.
That
Fuck
guy's
him.
weird as
That
That
fuck.
guy is
He
weird.
looks Asian. I
Fuck
gotta say.
him.
He
Nah.
looks
for-
Asian.
For the record, there's many times where I'm talking to Bullet on the phone and he's like, dude, I got to go get my mail or take the trash out. Just stay on the phone with me.
Did you tell him about the voicemail I left?
And,
That
I,
was
and
exactly
I
what-
fucking walk
Tell-
him all the way to his
Right.
phone, all the way to his trash can.
So this
on
fucking
the
Korean
phone.
dude doesn't talk to him.
Listen, tell him
Yeah.
about the voicemail I left.
That's
you.
exactly the voicemail he left. He's like, "Well, I'm gonna walk out
Do
here."
you have it on your phone?
No, I deleted it
Does he talk to you? What is wrong with him that you need to stay on the phone?
because I put you into my stroking.
He's probably
material.
creeped out by Bullet.
I can't tell you how many times.
You ever have like an awkward moment in the doorway?
How many rugs does Bullet throw out a year?
Oh my god.
Well,
Who
When you
asks
roll the
these
bodies up
questions?
into him. So he's probably 6 to 12.
Let me tell you, man. I go to acid bath.
That's a knee slapper.
I don't. I
You got
don't have.
reinforced
I
tub.
don't have
Right,
socially
exactly.
awkward
I mean, shit,
interactions because if I go out,
you-
I'll
you-
try to call somebody
you
first.
Kill them.
If
Yeah,
they
he
don't
calls
an-
me to take his trash out.
If they don't answer, I'll talk into their voicemail.
He's
Oh,
called
you
me-
just
I'll
said
be
you're
on the
on the phone with somebody.
I'll be on the phone with him. He's
You
like
can pretend
he's
you're
like,
on the
just
phone.
stay on the
Just
phone
put
with
your
me.
phone on silent.
I've done that. Or I used to pretend that I didn't speak English. I used to do that all the time.
Oh,
A
just
couple
like
times
me.
I've
I do that all the
I'm
time.
masturbating on my
I don't
phone.
know what you're saying.
No, me no English.
He's
no.
like he remember the show with Latka,
No
whatever that
understand.
Perfect stranger.
Perfect Strangers. It's fucking Bullet.
I would always try to do it like in my bad Portuguese.
It's
my
just
bad
so
pork and cheese.
ridiculous.
Bad Portuguese.
Yeah, my bad Portuguese. I would be like, "Ain't no fala inglês."
Did you watch the UFC
You
over
have
the
an
weekend?
English accent while saying
No, I
that.
say in
Yeah, you
Portuguese.
do. Come on.
Eu falo português.
Portuguese.
I only speak.
That's.
Eu falo pork and
I have
cheese.
no clue what that
Did you watch the UFC over the weekend?
I did, ladies and gentlemen. GSP.
Yes,
Hold on.
GSP,
We're not gonna just go right into that.
baby.
This is the
Oh.
this is the first UFC in months
He's sexy.
where I've wanted to pay for it.
I am. Thank you, Catalina. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's good.
But there's been we've talked about it a number of times. There's been so many UFC events where we're just like, fuck it, I'm not buying it. You know, I'll watch an illegal stream online. I'll go to fucking Buffalo Wild Wings. I'll wait for the results the next day.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Half the shit I
sucks.
won't watch anymore.
Go to Miller's Ale House.
Oh, yeah.
But this is the
Gotcha,
first
baby.
time in a long
Air
time
face.
where Todd and I agreed we're gonna pay for it.
I stayed at home because I just literally couldn't move.
I wrote my paper.
And
I was very excited about the show, though. It was
and
probably the
this
best show in years.
Fight card from start to finish was
Great
fucking
paper, though.
solid.
Probably the best fight card since UFC 100.
First fight on the card, Paulo Costa versus Johnny Hendricks. And I hate to say it, the fucking dude Paulo Costa, fucking handsome. That dude fucking just jacked,
Like,
muscular,
First of
Martin
all,
Handsome?
and he looked like he was just beating up a
wait,
fat kid in a
look,
fucking
look.
fucking parking
Martin
lot.
Handsome?
Paulo,
No, not Martin.
no.
No, not that. Not
Paulo
that
Costa
handsome.
is the kind of kid that like he's
You're like
never
a
had
10,
a
he's
bad
like
day in
6.
his life. He's never had a bad day in his life.
Yeah, dude's jacked. He's like 6'2".
Good-looking
fucking-
guy. He's got
but
a,
like what I
And he's
said about the
running through
picture in
dudes.
the family, everybody looks good on the picture.
like myself.
That's true.
See, you never know. You never know if he has a good family life or not. Or
Let me tell you something. He's probably drowning himself in
Just
pussy
saying.
with looking like that.
I don't pose people for pictures when I take pictures of them.
I just
Wait,
snap
what?
him.
I don't like the like because you guys know I do a lot of photography. I don't like taking pictures
Selfies,
where
what?
they know that I'm taking. Yeah, I do a lot of selfies as
Yeah,
well.
right.
But I don't like taking pictures of people.
I'm a little in love with you, dude.
when they
Gotta admit
it's
it.
the eyes
A little.
when they realize that I'm
Poquito.
taking a picture of them.
I'm not gay.
I feel like
but
you-
if I was,
I feel like you capture more.
So you like to like peep in their bathroom windows and take pictures is what you're
Yes.
saying.
oh
very
God,
silly.
yeah.
Like if I'm gonna take a picture of
No.
Todd
Right.
It's gonna be when he's not paying attention and actually capturing a moment where he's kind of reading something or whatever he's doing over there.
Look at this.
Right? Like, but you're talking about like posing people for stuff. Like, yes, that is so fake.
I mean,
Right?
you never know what is behind a person unless you talk to them. You can't judge upon an image.
But when you see Paulo
That's
Costa
what
in the ring, are you like,
Sometimes
that
what I
dude's
like to
living
do,
the dream?
I don't like to pose sometimes, but what I'll do is, and this is honest, if a chick asks for a dick pic, what I'll do is
Right,
I'll
let's
half chub up,
Right,
so it's like,
Or
Why
take a
would
picture.
you
don't-
even send a
you
dick
don't-
pic?
you
Some
don't go-
other guy's
Joking.
cock I found on the
Why?
it's
internet.
just a joke.
You go
Oh.
half chub, half
Fell
chub
apart,
just to
Thanks.
say, hey, you know
Thanks
what?
for just taking apart the
Sorry.
chick. He literally just took the wheels off the
That
fucking
was
joke.
terrible. It was a bad joke.
Do you-
Look,
Babe
I'm
Ruth,
sorry.
Babe
It
Ruth,
happened.
Hold
Babe
on.
Ruth struck out a bunch too.
How about go back to
The last chick who asked me for a
OSP,
dick pic, well, she's
Cody-
resting
Corey
peacefully.
Anderson.
We'll go there.
Yeah, the whole fight card was
OSP's
good.
getting his ass kicked.
Oh yeah,
Corey-
GSP.
And then
and
OSP.
then
Left high
Yeah.
kick to the head.
But
And-
fucking,
James Vick.
let's stay on bullet half chubbing up for 1 second. now I feel like you're going half chub to say, hey, you know what? There's more where this came from.
Okay,
Chub,
look,
chub,
if y'all want a
Right?
sex
chub,
tip, a little sex
chub.
tip, which camera am I talking to?
Talk to them all.
All right, here's a
Right
little
here, bitch.
here-
Fuck you.
here's a little sex tip for all you guys out there.
Oh no.
If you ever want to send a dick pic to a chick and you want to impress her, here's what you do. You half chub it. Be quiet,
Send
you.
another dick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You could do a stunt
You
cock.
Google fucking John Holmes.
You
and
could
send a
stunt
picture of
cock
that
it. You
cock.
could stunt cock it. But what?
Stunk cock?
Yeah, you could stunt
What
cock
does
it.
that mean?
Oh, it,
You have
ha-
to
it
stand
I
happens.
don't even know what that means.
You have to stand in.
Like a stunt man, like you have a
it's a
fake
cock
person
stand-in.
jumping in for you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, you thought he said stunk.
Yeah,
stunk,
I was
ah.
like, you're
Let-
cock-
let me throw
Is
some of
it
that-
like a green thing?
Let me throw some of that
like in a cartoon?
stanky cock on you.
It'll certainly stunk after I'm done with it.
Oh.
But what you do is you have chub
Bullet
up.
has some bad seeds he's
Yeah,
laying.
Oh,
yeah,
fool.
that's all right. You have chub up, and what
Smell
you
like
do
old
is
yogurt.
you show them. You
Oh,
show them about a tasteful inch of dick neck, and that way they
Just
know.
the neck?
Just a tasteful inch of dick neck, and
Like,
let them
how
know.
do you do
Just the tip.
tasteful?
So for
Just
you-
the, he means just the tip.
It's
Chris,
tasteful.
Chris, he's got to chub up. to get that
Tasteful
inch of
tip.
dick.
Exactly. What the fuck is a half inch?
He's, no, he's half chubbed. So the full
can't.
chub's 2 inches.
Okay, you have to stop this.
You set yourself up for that.
I know. Come on, man. What are you doing, buddy?
So
Don't you got a chair to fall through?
wait, a tasteful half chub. How are you working in a
That was
tasteful half chub?
Well, you always got to do a downward angle, and then what you do is you let them know, like if they play their cards right, they get that other inch.
Are you showing the top inch or bottom inch right above the balls?
Top. We're talking from like at the top of the shaft.
You mean they get
It's
their-
just
you- they
shaft.
get
It's
your
just
name.
shaft.
Oh
he's
yeah,
just
from the
showing.
ground floor. We're not going from the penthouse down.
You want
I didn't know if-
baby? Come on.
I don't know if you were just showing mid shaft.
No,
like,
no,
like
no,
you're
no.
not showing balls
Mid
or the
shaft
head.
around
It's
the
just
nipples.
mid.
From the lobby to about the 3rd or 4th floor.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
So
Yeah, let
what's
them
the
know.
process for half chubbing?
I want hose down.
You know, smack
Are you
around a
standing
little
there
bit.
with your legs apart, just swinging it until if I can get some blood going into it?
and
Tell
she-
me
and
you've
she-
never done that.
She is
No.
sound asleep.
Never done that one.
Right.
Have you sent any dick pics recently?
No.
Thank God.
You
Don't.
sent, you sent
It's
me
not
that.
impressive.
You sent me that one.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's
impressive. I'll show you the
terrible.
one that
It
I have
really
on
is.
deck.
I don't.
You want to see it?
You have one on deck?
No.
I
Jesus Christ. It's goddamn joke.
Here, Bullet, go in here real quick.
I got one on
Oh.
deck.
Go in the booth real quick.
You want to see it?
No.
I don't. give a
No,
fuck.
No.
I'm good.
No.
I'm really
No, we're
good.
good, Bullet.
No, we're
I'm
good.
perfect. I'm doing great.
Friend Martin.
Doing great over here.
No, we're good. So, yeah,
So, later, bro.
OSP takes this fight against Corey Anderson.
Oh,
Corey Anderson is a guy who's moving
Corey
up the
Anderson's
ranks.
been fucking climbing up the ranks for a while too.
Yeah, well, those bitch tits that he has got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, but he was winning prior
He
to
was
that, right?
doing
I didn't
great.
watch that fight.
He was doing great.
That was one of the few fights I didn't see.
OSP took the fight on short notice, coming off of a loss, ranked number 5, has to make a statement. Not only wins, but wins with a statement. I mean, OSP is a guy that's so consistently inconsistent. He'll win a fight against like Shogun. He'll win a fight coming from behind against Corey Anderson, and then he gets into another fight with some momentum, and I think his problem is completely mental.
Mental. He's like Uriah Hall.
Very, very much.
Two guys very similar. But
Has
but
all the
Johnny
tools in the
Hendricks
world.
just like goes.
He's done.
I want to go back to the Paulo Costa fight.
He's completely done.
Johnny Hendricks looked awful physically.
Whose dog is barking?
Who's got their phone
Is that
on?
Martin's phone?
It might be.
so ashamed.
You're shame. Shame.
Johnny Hendricks
Shame.
looks like he. I mean, Johnny Hendricks. I mean, we can only speculate because
He barely made 185.
He never pissed hot, but my God, ever since USADA came in, he has looked deflated.
He barely made 185.
He didn't piss hot once.
No. With a bod like that?
No, but you Google Johnny Hendricks, UFC welterweight champion, and then Google him at his last fight, and just look at the physical transformation.
Real quick, if you're Johnny Hendricks on that same card, and in his mind he's this fucking power hitter who's knocking dudes out, and he's only got like 2 or 3 major knockouts on his card, right? He's at the start of the card, GSP's at the end, and GSP comes in and just wrecks Bisbing, right? In his mind, does he still feel like he beat GSP?
Well, hold on. And GSP is the first one that started his downward spiral.
Yes, but I don't want to get on GSP yet because GSP. What are you doing? What's everybody doing with their fucking phones?
Yeah, get off your freaking
the
phones.
fuck?
Because he never beat. He never beat.
The goddamn phone's away.
Hendricks never beat.
Speed bump.
That's what Johnny Hendricks used to look at 170.
Yeah, he was pretty.
He didn't look like that anymore.
No, he didn't look even close.
This is what I
And
look
Hendricks
like
never
now.
beat GSP.
No, he never did. But in Hendricks' mind, he had a couple more scratches on GSP's face, so he thought he had won.
I think another thing that changed Johnny Hendricks really were those 2 fights with Robbie Lawler. He's never come out of those the same because the long-term effects of those type of fights.
If you look at all those guys, none of those guys are evolving their skill set. Right? It's kind of the same stuff every fight.
He's 2-7 in his last 9 fights.
And he should not be in the UFC at that point.
7 losses.
How many of those are knockouts? Or TKOs?
Probably, yeah. I don't think he's got knocked out. I think he maybe 1 or 2, but not that many. Mostly points.
3 out of those 7.
Okay. So who was the fight after that? I can't remember. It was Wonder Boy Thompson versus Masvidal. Wonder Boy's fucking phenomenal.
That fight kind of went out the same way I thought.
Skilled.
Masvidal is double tough though.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely tough. He
I remember seeing him fight on a Kimbo video.
But he's
Backyard.
nowhere in he's nowhere in the league of Wonder Boy Thompson.
Not
as far as skill set.
No,
and the quality of his training.
No, toughness, yes.
Yeah, you can't teach somebody toughness, right? Agreed? Everybody agree in the room? Everybody in the room agree?
Correct.
Hands up.
Oh, he's breaking a fucking light now. Come on, Todd.
You have one job.
But you
not
can't
to break lights.
But you can't teach you can't teach that to somebody, but you can teach them skill. And
I can break hearts.
If you're looking at those 2 guys based on their skill only, like Masvidal's not even in the same ballpark.
No, but he's just tough.
No.
Yeah, he's tough. And that's only going to get you so far in a career.
It's going to get him very
far. Right?
Now.
And him and Bisbing they had like some sort of issue prior to that, right? They were jawing back and forth.
Apparently Masvidal is trying to get involved in that upper echelon, and the only way to do it is to
get GSP.
Well,
get
you can't
Bisbing
blame
riled
him.
up.
Think
that's the only way to do it
anymore. Yeah, ever since it's the Chael Sonnen effect.
Unless you're Rose.
Talk yourself into title fights.
Unless you're Rose.
Well, let's talk
Who's
about
Rose.
her.
Rose Nama Jamma
So how is that different from
versus
How
Joanna
is that different from pro wrestling?
Who gives a fuck at this point?
versus Joanna and Jacek?
Whoa, wait, hold on.
Oh, here comes the Polish flag. Start waving it.
Let me tell you.
Did you watch the fight?
I did. Actually, that one I watched afterwards.
That's the worst I've ever seen her fight. She looks horrible.
Well, that was the 7th time she was defending her title.
I think it's complacency.
What she did was
I think she's surrounded by hype
remember
people.
the fight between Silva and Weidman?
Yeah, complacency.
And remember how Silva was like, "Oh yeah, I'm so cocky."
That's
I'm
called
like,
complacency.
Whatever it's called, man. That's exactly what she did.
She got
but
caught.
You know what?
Don't
you know
put
what?
words in her mouth, buddy.
She is
put more.
going to learn from that mistake, and when she comes back, she'll be dead. Yeah.
I don't
She did.
I don't think she's
But
gonna
guess
be the
what?
same.
But it's not. Listen, it's not about that.
And never been bullied before, and did.
But listen,
She was
that's
trying
not
to bully.
true. But guess what?
She was turning into
See,
a bully.
I'm
Because
Polish.
if you watch the Ultimate
You don't
Fighter
understand
with
Polish blood,
well, let
how
her
it
talk.
works. Let me tell you.
How does it work?
So what I think is,
It pumps through
okay,
my body.
because like I don't get beat much. I beat the shit out of
You will if you ever wrestle with
everyone.
me.
I mean, all my competition, most of my competitions, I won.
Yeah,
But
not this one.
I'm not bragging.
No.
Whatever.
belly to back suplex
Cheers.
you right on your
But-
fucking
You gotta
head.
cheers, you drink.
You're my hero
Cheers.
at this point.
Somebody taught me that earlier.
God bless
Yeah,
you.
cheers, boys.
God.
What I'm saying is, she needed her ass whooped in order to,
She had to get checked.
yes, in order to actually work harder. That's what I do. When I come back, like last Sunday, I came back to training.
For the first time in 3 months.
In 3 months.
She's been
And
a
it's
little bit
true.
lazy lately.
I'm not lazy. I was never
kidding.
lazy. I work hard. I'm in school. I'm a straight A
She
student.
works hard for money.
Fi-
What's your major?
So hard for money.
Stop!
And you better treat her right. So right.
Ow!
I think
ahead.
she's gonna get a rematch, and she will beat the shit out of her.
I think the opposite,
Period.
where she's kind of like some of these other people where people figured out the
She is
blueprint.
not Ronda Rousey. I'm sorry.
Once the blueprint's
She's not
figured
Ronda
out,
Ronda
Rousey,
Rousey, who lost what now?
The second time she did,
Right.
didn't she?
I have a different.
Oh, she lost. She was
Hold on,
freaking.
I think
she
my
was
brother-
winning
my
all
brother
these.
does a great point in talking
Okay.
about this.
He does.
That Yolanda, when she's in the gym,
Talking
she's
to your
probably-
mic. We can't hear you.
Oh yeah,
probably
we were.
the toughest girl there. And
Why?
there's nobody that. All of a
Exactly.
sudden now, it didn't work out. that
She
way.
doesn't have
But no,
anybody that's pressing
she
her. She's doing the
played.
pressing all the time in the gym.
I have a different take on this.
Here you go.
And I'm oddly attracted to her, by the way.
Ew, why?
I know.
She-
Todd's attracted to her
She
well.
is so not good
When
looking.
when
It's
she's
the accent. It's the
Prior-
accent, boys. It's the accent.
gets
Come
me.
on.
Prior to going into
Not my thing.
No, the accent rocks.
No,
No
it's
doubt
prior to
about
going
it.
into the ring. As soon as she goes in the ring, she looks like
Oh
she's
yeah,
kinda
she looks like
a
Smeagol.
crack whore or something.
She looks like a
Yes,
crack
me,
whore.
here's the packages.
But what I'm saying
That's
is,
not Carolina, right?
No.
but
No.
what I'm saying is, remember
No, it's
what
really
Rocky does when he's in the ring?
Don't you
and
talk
he
about
fights?
Rocky.
No, what I'm
Don't you
saying
talk
is,
about Rocky?
You don't have the right.
we
You're a
have.
bum rock.
Oh, zip it. We have the love for a fight.
I think.
We're brave enough.
I think the
I think
problem.
she's-
Fight.
I really think the problem with Joanna in this fight was
Stop it.
it seemed early on that Rose had her timed pretty well. I think the reach was a problem. I think Thug Rose Namajunas or whatever her name is.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
She had her just.
She
was
figured
her-
it out ahead of time.
Well, I think the range
knew
was a
she had it
problem.
figured out.
I think Joanna was throwing a lot of kicks that were missing, a lot of jabs that were missing. She never really seemed like she wanted to step in that pocket. There was a couple exchanges in the fight where she had some success.
I wish I was sitting closer.
I'll fucking shoot you guys.
Why are you gonna
I'll
pull a gun
choke
out
you.
like that?
Really?
And you
I'll
know,
choke you.
you know me well if I do that. I'm
So-
not.
I'm
afraid
sorry.
of that.
Finish your thought.
Bow and arrow and
And it-
Niziki. Sorry. I had to.
All right, good.
Let's go to
no,
Valhalla together.
I
brother.
don't think I think there was probably a degree of complacency on Joanna's part,
She was looking past her.
but I think there's
She
also
definitely
I
was.
think
Joanna, man.
I think a lot of people are discounting that Rose A had a good game plan and utilized her natural gifts where she had a really good range on her. She had a really good reach, and I think the reach was a problem. She was able to early on in the fight, she was able to get her gloves on her, and I think that was giving problems. I don't think Joanna expected her to be able to touch her. I don't think she expected her to be able to hit her that hard because the common thinking was for Rose to win this fight, she's got to get her to the ground.
I think she underestimated
totally
her
did.
from day one.
Totally did.
Before she even started. She was already like, oh, I'm a winner for 6 freaking times. Come
How
on.
many times in your life?
But we've
like
seen
too
this with
much.
many champions, Ronda
But
Rousey,
that's what
Anderson
you don't
Silva.
underestimate
Into the
your
mic,
opponent.
Todd.
Never.
Period.
Never.
How cool
Whoever
was it?
he is.
How cool was it when you were watching that fight? Have you ever been that excited about somebody that you weren't fighting? When you saw Pat Barry see his wife win,
He
It
was
wa-
so
that was
happy.
fucking
I wasn't that happy.
incredible.
I got to be honest.
Yeah.
I wasn't that happy for her.
Who did you had Joanna in the fight, right?
In
Yeah.
all-
I did as well.
In all honesty,
Yeah,
right
me
cock in
too,
your
but-
mouth, right?
And I think
But
we.
I'm
Are
glad
you
she
drunk?
got her
Is there-
ass
is
beat.
there-
Yeah,
will.
she needed
Is
it.
there- is
She
there
needed
money-
calm it
it.
down a little
Just
bit.
like Rousey.
Turn it down.
While we're on this fight,
What's this?
is there money supposed to be exchanged?
No. There was
Not yet,
money
not yet?
exchanged on the GSP fight.
Oh, that's right.
But we're gonna
Oh.
talk about
Oh.
Cody No Love versus TJ Dillashaw.
Not-
Talk about a dude who hyped himself up for the fight.
Yeah.
Cody,
Yeah.
right? Like this dude already believed it was over, and in his mind he was the fucking man, and everybody around him is talking about how great he is.
What did he say at the start of the second round?
You're not making it out of the round. and Dillashaw did not make it out of the round. He finished him.
I was a little surprised, but not that surprised because they're so evenly matched. I thought that Cody hit harder at the end of the first round.
Dillashaw apparently hits hard too. He's got a lot of knockouts.
Yeah, but not that one punch knockout. He added to that.
And it wasn't one punch. It was
an accumulation.
It's a combination.
As soon as I hit you, I didn't.
He pounced.
On
Top of him.
Yeah,
he pounced. They're gonna fight again. Dominic Cruz had a fight lined up, but he got injured. He broke his arm in training, so he's out.
But the thing I liked about watching the fight, did you feel like Dillashaw was really as bad as Team Alpha all said he was?
No.
It seems very manufactured.
It's not my business.
But it seems very childish, a lot of that too. And
It's just an opinion.
and I'm gonna relate this back to Ric Flair, right?
It's not my business.
For Dillashaw to get to the level that he's at,
He has to be selfish.
he's got to be selfish. And why should the whole team be upset at him? And if I'm a fan, why am I joining the ranks of everybody on Team Alpha to go against Dillashaw because he tried to make his life better? Riddle me that, Bullet.
I don't care about that team. I'm Team
No, but
Alliance.
I just want your general thoughts on that kind of subject because it's not the first time we've seen it.
I think there is probably a legitimate, genuine beef there, but once the promotion here's the other thing. The Ultimate Fighter, they're not interested in telling the truth. They're interested in telling a story. So they have to create characters. Yeah, they're dramatizing it. So
Choreographed.
you have to make a bad guy. You have to make a good guy.
Yeah, but Cody made himself a bad guy.
He did.
Pretty fucking easy.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he made it easy for them. But my whole thing is that, the drama and these beefs and these feuds, they bring in the casual fan because you don't need to know a whole lot about MMA. You just need to know that guy doesn't like that guy, and they're going to talk a whole bunch of jive at each other.
And then that guy is going to
you
hit
just say
that guy.
You say jive?
Jive
You don't
talking?
think?
Are you jive talking me? Sucker?
You're mixing up two different things. That you're
Into the
mixing,
mic.
You're mixing up what gets a pro wrestling fan.
You can barely talk, dude.
Get into the mic. It's turn it back into your face.
Turn it in your face.
Dude, Fred Martin's staying over for 6 hours.
I had a driver so I could get trashed, and then he got fucking trashed.
Looks like Bullet's driving.
I know. Holy shit.
For fuck's sake. Okay.
So what were you saying, though?
It's coming. Let him finish.
It's a slow burn, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, go ahead.
No.
Go
We
ahead,
want to hear it.
G.
You stop it there.
Stop it. You don't get all weird.
He doesn't remember what he's going to say.
No, I like to get weird, but okay.
We were talking
but-
about Cody No Love.
you were
and,
talking
about the
about-
teams and how these guys are
You,
manufacturing the whole
Right,
process.
as both an MMA fan and as both a pro wrestling fan, you're kind of mixing up both of them, but they're not the same thing,
That's a good one.
right? Hey, Carolina, come on, man.
What?
No. I pulled a coin out of his ear.
Yes, he did.
You can get back me, come on. You
Back
gotta-
him up. Can you back him
You
up,
know what?
please?
You do make a very
Okay.
good point. So the main event.
Yeah,
the
right.
I was supposed to back him up.
I know.
No, I'm agreeing with you. The main event of the
I agree.
main event of the evening.
Martin, I agree with you.
GSP
Whatever you say.
coming off a
Airbomb.
4-year layoff, successfully defeats the incumbent champion, Michael the Count Bisping, wrestles away the 185-pound title away from Michael
The
Bisping.
Count, but he's really a legit competitor, right?
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
he's
Yeah.
not anything like the Count.
He's
What's
been
his nickname?
He's been
No,
around.
there's no both. Are you a wrestler? Are you an MMA fighter?
Yeah, you
There's
got to
no
pick
both.
one. You got to pick one.
No, because you had nicknames in boxing. They were legitimate.
I was Big Evil.
Big Evil.
Yeah.
But
Incredible Hulk.
This last time we rolled, who won?
Biz
You did.
Yes.
He did. This is how
Bisbing
I know
was
I'll beat the shit out of him.
legitimately a champion, right?
I couldn't beat him. You got it right.
Right. No, he's legitimately a champion. So GSP going against him is a legitimate challenge,
It is.
right? So
Stepping up in weight, coming off a
Stepping up in
4-year
weight.
layoff.
4-year layoff.
I thought he was in trouble in that last round until he clocked Bisping because Bisping was starting to.
He's starting to figure him out a little bit.
Well, he was.
Actually, GSP looked tired.
That's what I'm saying. He looked tired. Bisping was starting to actually get better as the fight had worn on. He kind of took everything that GSP dished out.
But was he really better or was his opponent worse?
I tell you what, I was so surprised at how much damage he did from the
Bottom, yeah, with those
to
elbows.
GSP.
Oh, the bottom.
He had the top. How did that?
A lot of that's
happen?
scar tissue,
That's like
though,
when
and
I-
you're just
when I
kind of
heard you
reopening
fucking my
stuff
midgets.
that's
You were
already
the
been
bottom.
there.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
The choke that GSP finished him with, yeah, we're getting to that. The choke that GSP finished him with was fucking tight.
Right. Tight.
Yeah.
And
it
so,
was a really nice
so-
joke.
on a side note, Todd and I were out to lunch the other day.
I was surprised too how hard he
Which
hit.
I wasn't invited to.
GSP
that's
was.
all.
I didn't think GSP would be able to
We were past
hurt
your
him with
6-hour
punches.
limit.
Why not?
You didn't invite me.
Moving
just
up in
saying.
weight.
Oh, whatever. He already had him on the ground.
but he
That's
walks
like
around
the
a bigger
uppercut
guy.
And
He's
then
got
done.
a stiff jab.
No. What I mean is that
It was beautiful.
GSP
I enjoyed every minute
I
of it.
honestly thought
There you
coming
go,
up in
right?
weight, I didn't know if the power would transfer.
Ric Flair.
I think
if you
I think
have
his power
somebody
level
already
rises.
knocked out, it's,
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when they were standing, because Bisping is competing with guys that are cutting a lot of weight to hit
Yeah,
185.
that's true. Yeah.
So I'm
But
figuring.
GSP's probably a
GS
200-pound guy on a regular day.
Yeah, but he didn't. He's coming up in weight. I didn't know how the transfer was going to be with his power punches. Yeah, obviously his jab, but there was a couple shots where he was hurting Bisping on the feet. Now, yeah, like to your point, yeah, on the ground he pounced on him, and I think that's one thing that in this fight, if I'm a GSP guy, I think a lot of the people that had kind of been detractors of GSP before have been, well, he's been a safety first fighter. But in this
I
fight,
don't think he took that route.
Bisping forced him to
Yeah.
stand and trade in a couple exchanges.
Yeah, but not only that, he came forward that
Whole
The
time.
fight, yeah, and I think that was a plan though too, because I think Bisping was expecting him to walk back,
Exactly.
and because GSP was moving forward,
That's when he takes his shot when Bisping's walking forward.
I think also that's the other thing is where GSP doesn't have to worry about Bisping coming in and shooting on him.
Did
He
you
has to
put
worry
any
about-
money on the fight?
I didn't.
You should have.
You did.
I know I should have.
You did.
Damn it.
I
You
don't-
absolutely bet.
I don't
on
remember
the
that.
fight. We have it on video from last week and audio from the show.
We didn't shake.
There's no shake.
There's no shake. It's
You're
a
right, there was
verbal
no shake.
agreement where you said
Audio.
it's on. Todd has it. He's going to play it.
I wish I could play through
Oh,
my
no.
mic.
Yeah, play through Martin's mic.
Yeah, do it.
Just stretch that over a little bit for him. Just get it to the end of the table.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. This is Bullet saying, you're 40 versus my 40. It's on.
It's on.
Yeah, but that clip.
I can't get it.
Yeah.
It's in the text.
So there's no
Come on,
proof.
Todd, you got it.
I'm on the text.
Yeah, there's no proof. But what I'd like to say is that kudos to GSP. He's contractually obligated to fight Whitaker for a unification title bout against the interim champion.
I think he just moves down a weight class and vacates the belt.
Yeah, he's contractually obligated.
I don't know. I just don't know. But
I think he beats Whitaker.
I think he beats Whitaker as well. He figures him out. He's figured out everybody except for one fight against
I think
Sarah
the-
and one fight against Hughes.
But he's avenged his losses, so they don't count.
Yeah, exactly.
I would
he's
say-
erased it off his permanent record.
I would say the one thing that I was like that got everything got either an A or a B mark, but his cardio was a C. He's got to improve his cardio. Now, how much of that was nerves?
Could have been anxiety.
First fight back in 4 years. There's a lot of pressure.
Get it closer, Todd. Get it closer.
Here's how the markets did.
Is that you? Is that still Martin's going? All right, we're getting a little long in the tooth with the show.
We are. So it's thank you for listening. And you all have a wonderful day. Thank you very much for checking the show out. For Martin and for Katie.
We didn't get any crazy sex stories out of Martin. Like, no,
Yeah,
nothing.
What happened?
And he's
here?
drunk, too.
Or
Huh?
Katie.
Oh, whoa.
I felt like we were going to dig deep into Martin this time.
no.
Do it,
Let's
do it.
we
Turn it
have-
back.
No,
Turn the mic back.
No.
So where's the craziest place you ever done it, Katie?
I'm not telling.
Let's do a Carolina
Hey,
interview.
baby,
Turn the
we're-
mic towards your face.
Oh no.
We'll do this together. What do you got, baby?
I am not.
What do you got?
I'm not telling you
Why don't you
guys.
start, Fred?
What
Martin?
was the
These are
craziest place
crazy.
I've ever done it?
Oh, you don't like it when the mirror's looking back at you, huh?
Come on, honey, we
Huh.
got this.
That's a
We-
psychological
come on,
thing.
We got this.
We got
You
this.
start and I'll
Okay.
follow.
What do you want to know?
I'm not a follower though.
No, you're not. You're not.
So you're saying you're a top, not a bottom?
I'm not.
Oh, I am a.
I am so on top.
I
Aw.
can be either.
You can be on top anytime you want, honey.
Just you guys have the camera.
Okay.
Say it.
Yeah,
There's a little pull start right here.
it's a sex off.
Bitch, what do you need?
Oh no.
No, we want a sex story.
What do you want?
Anything you want to tell.
Which one you want?
How many people are watching this?
A bunch.
Carolina, hey, baby.
Oh no.
You got me here. We're right here.
I got you.
What do you need?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Right, Martin.
I'll tell a story.
All right,
Okay.
please.
You're not on camera.
So
Tell a story.
I'm gonna tell remember the Snickers bar story?
U-turn.
Oh,
Didn't I tell you?
I will
U-turn.
share the story.
Did I not
do you,
tell
do you know
you?
the Snicker bar story?
U-turn.
I
Turn.
do. I know all
Todd.
your stories, unfortunately. Jesus.
U-turn.
So Martin,
Oh yeah, yes, buddy.
long time ago,
Yeah.
I'm up to Poconos with a bunch of friends, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And before we all go out, I just take the worst shit ever. Right?
Oh,
you
no.
don't want to do that before.
Worst shit. It was just bad. I had like nachos, all kinds. It's just a bad day,
It happens, man. It happens.
right?
Of course.
So before we go out, I have that, and you know you get a little residual action going sometimes if you don't really get aggressive with it.
What are you gonna do?
We go out and come home, and like I was with a bunch of friends in the Poconos at the bar, right? One of the girls there I didn't even talk to the whole night. When we get back to the room, back to the house, she comes into my room, right? Starts giving me a little oral action, right?
Hell yeah.
Jump up, she's on her back, start humping her face, right? But I'm rubbing my asshole up and down her shirt the whole time,
That's
right?
okay. That's okay.
We get up the next morning, we get dressed, we leave the house, we're at the Burger King in the Poconos.
You did leave shit stains. Did you?
She takes her sweatshirt off,
And there's shit
and there's
stains.
just shit stains
Oh,
from her
God,
neck
buddy,
to her
what do you-
belly button.
You can't do that, man. You gotta clean that shit up.
Yeah, well,
I
she's
wish I got Catalina's face.
Yeah, it was
she's like, did
pure
I eat a
disgust.
candy bar last night?
Carolina.
And I said,
Pure
yeah,
disgust.
he thinks his dog's a girl for starters. He's like, get over here, girl, and it's a boy, and he thinks my dog's a girl or a boy. Like he's very confused about stuff.
How am I the soberest person in this room? Like, how did
Well,
this happen?
I'm not
excuse
drunk.
me,
I'm not even
the
close to drunk.
soberest person in
Apparently
this
you
room.
are.
No, I'm trying to tell a story so Martin will feel obliged to fucking share something
Obliged.
to
Why
the
don't you
next
share?
level.
Why don't you share some next level shit with the audience?
Your
What do you
vocab.
want, buddy? Tell me. I'll go
Anything.
there.
Any
Okay.
some next level sex shit.
Martin, have you ever done any quadruple penetration?
Oh.
No, I have not.
Triple?
I don't know if you should.
I have done triple.
You have done triple.
Please tell us the story.
Well, there were two other dudes who I can't tell you their name. That
Two.
had their cocks in her ass, and I had my cock in her pussy. That was triple.
How do they get both cocks in her ass at the same time?
I
I don't understand the
I
fucking
was-
physics of it.
I was drunk and I couldn't say it.
Who was the girl?
But there was
You don't
one-
have to say her name. How did?
Well, her name was.
Was she a
Elizabeth.
stranger that all?
She,
Was she a stranger that
There
all
was-
you guys met
there
out
was
somewhere?
one point where one of the guys slapped his hand around and grabbed my balls, and I punched him out, and he was unconscious.
Wait, you
involved in
knocked the
everything.
dude out when he's in the
Oh,
middle of getting oral?
I fucking knocked the.
How bad is that?
He grabbed my nuts.
No,
man.
no. If you're that dude, like you're in the
Like,
middle of this
hey,
great
hey, buddy,
sensation and you're getting
I'm
dropped,
I'm okay with you grabbing my nuts.
Oh.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
I-
seriously,
I
you
like
punched
that.
this dude in the face?
So,
Like,
yeah, I fucking.
was it because you were startled?
No, it was because he deserved it.
Like, was it an aggressive grab?
Yeah, it was.
Like yanking the kind of
And
thing?
I
Chris,
grabbed,
I
like-
see it like something about Mary. Like,
Yanking.
that's my ball.
Wait.
Have you seen my baseball?
There was these tongs I had that I used for my grill, right? And while he was unconscious,
Why are they?
Oh, wait, are they in the
why
middle
are
of
they
this?
In the middle of this.
they were in his ass.
And you're
Were
just
you
fucking.
were you at your home?
No, I was at my apartment. I was in college.
So the three of you dudes are
He
banging
bled
one
the
chick.
next time and he cried to me. He was like,
Sorry, I grab your balls.
Yeah, and I said, "No, it's okay, buddy, but yeah, I made you bleed."
But was he grabbing it as like a sexual thing, or was he being funny?
He was trying to go sexual, but he should have asked me first, right? Because
Where were you in the position? Were you in the oral part?
I was, oh God, buddy, you really want me to go there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, bring it on.
All
You're
right.
up next, Katie.
I don't know if I want to know.
Too
I'm
bad.
not
You're,
talking about my sexual
yes, you are. You're in
experiences.
it. You're in the
I
hot
am
seat.
so not.
You're in the hot seat, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey,
Sorry,
put the
unfortunately,
pressure
I'm
here.
not.
Don't go in.
So,
Not
Over
doing
here.
it.
so, you,
Over
so
here.
you're in this chick's mouth, right? Making
No,
this.
no.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was in the vagina.
Are you in the vagina?
No.
No, he's in the mouth. He
I-
said he
But
was in
did
the
you
mouth.
die?
I'm alive, aren't I? But no, I was in her ass because I dig the ass.
So you were. Was she on her knees?
Yeah.
And the dude that is the dude eating her pussy out? And he
No,
accidentally licks your
th-
balls.
There was two dudes, right?
Wait,
Yeah.
so were you in there with another? dude?
Wait, so it was quadruple.
So one guy's on his
So
back,
it's two
she's on
other
top,
dudes
and
and
you're
a girl.
behind.
And you.
Hold on.
So you guys were like bumping under the covers?
So balls are slapping into each other.
There was some slapping, but I didn't mean for. God, what are you guys? What are you, details warriors? What are you going on?
Warriors. 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 You guys are warriors.
Oh my God! I just want to look at this on the.
All right. Do you want a story? Do you want to laugh?
I'm
Todd,
listening.
Bad jokes.
I want.
All right.
I want this.
All right. So, I'm an asshole guy, right? So like
That's okay.
What's this? What's the license plate on Seinfeld? Ass man.
No,
You better believe it, buddy.
Hey, you want to go home or what? Come on. I'm an asshole guy, right?
Right.
So I want their ass.
Right.
So I'm going at it, right? And the other guy.
Was anybody in the ass before you?
I don't know, man.
Okay.
Come on, man.
I'm just asking.
What are we talking about? This is a long time ago.
Okay.
There's another guy in her pussy, and there's another guy who, at first, she's sucking off, and I'm thinking, that's cool, because what the fuck do I care about her mouth, right?
Right.
That's cool.
So we were all going at it, like, oh, this is good. She was my.
Is she a brunette?
Yeah, she was a blonde.
I felt like she was a brunette.
I can make her a brunette. If
Okay.
you want.
Say
Oh
say,
my God.
say she's a
I
brunette.
can't
She was a
make-
fucking brunette.
Oh my God, this story's so good.
She was my the apartment that I lived in. She was my neighbor.
Okay.
Her and her sister, and oh God, that's another story
All
entirely.
right. So
But right,
so this dude's getting the guy that grabbed your balls is getting oral.
yes.
How does he just does he
That's a
does it
big
reach
reach.
around like?
But let me tell you, at first I didn't realize he was grabbing my balls. Somebody was grabbing my balls. I knew that, right? And because
You were hoping it was her.
right, there's a chick here, so you go, oh, this is great, this is the best thing ever. And you look at it like that knuckles.
Is he a roommate?
That knuckle's got some hair on it. So is that a dude? I don't fucking know. Be like, well, no, I'm not gonna even go there because that's a question.
Wait, are you like long dicking her and you're just seeing that hand
No, no, no,
underneath?
Wait. Okay, look, first,
Okay, I need to use the bathroom.
and we just scared Carolina.
Go ahead, we're gonna wrap
Are
this
you
up in a minute
Are you
anyway.
happy?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
Well, for everybody, so we're just gonna end the story right there, buddy. We're not gonna continue with
I
this.
could go because
Yeah, we know you can go, but
And
we're
I'll
just,
I was enjoying the story.
you're right because
we'll take this off.
But I love having Martin on. Martin's a friend. So
Martin,
Fred Martin.
Love you,
Fred
brother.
Martin.
friend Martin,
friend Martin.
he's gonna regret this when he hears it back.
I don't
no,
think so.
Actually, I won't because what do I got to lose?
Hottest guy at Social Security.
I am.
There you go. So
On that note, head out to Philly Comedy Club on Friday to see our buddy Russ
Shuli.
Gooten. Shuli Agar is playing there at 9:30 and 7:30. Also follow Resp Tattoo. Go out and see him at the Keswick Tattoo Place on Saturday from 5 to 9 for their open house. Follow us on Extreme Cage Combat. Make sure you go out and get yourself a fleshlight because they feel good. Get yourself some Jack Daniels before you get your fleshlight, and you can fucking do a double whammy.
Little dads and cargo pants.
Dads in cargo shorts. You can send the story to them when you're done, and then make sure you watch Netflix
Oh yeah.
and support your Social Security.
and support your Social Security.
Mamita.
On that note,
Goodbye.
good day.